Chapter 61 Luo Xiu's Wealth. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What are the standards for classifying and judging genius levels? Luo Xiu couldn't help but ask. The levels of geniuses in the guild are divided into 4 levels, heaven, earth, Xuanhuan, and each level is divided into 3 smaller levels, lower, middle, and upper. Based on your age of 14, only with the 7th level of Qi Si and the 5th level of martial arts can you get the judgment of Huang level inferior. The reason why you can get this judgment with the 3rd level of Qi Si is based on your performance, which is equivalent to possessing the strength of Qi Hai Qi level 5 martial arts master, so he can barely get the evaluation of Huang level. Hearing this, Luo Xiu couldn't help but take a breath of air. The Hunters Guild standard for attracting geniuses was too high. As far as he knew, the 14-year-old Qi Hai Qi level 7 had never appeared even among the core disciples of the Shaoyao inner sect, not to mention that it required a 5th level martial arts mastery, which not only required high cultivation, but also required martial arts talent. Also very high. 1 year later, that is, when you are 15 years old, you must be at the innate realm and reach the 6th level of martial arts. If your cultivation level cannot meet the requirements, your strength can meet the requirements. And this is just a requirement for the lower level Huang level. The higher the genius level, the higher the requirements and the greater the benefits. Similarly, using the age of 14 as the standard, the requirements for the middle yellow level are the 9th level of Qi Hai and perfect 5th level martial arts. The requirements for the upper level yellow level are the early stage of Xiantian and the 6th level martial arts. The higher Xian level, earth level, heaven level, even I have never heard of it. While speaking, Yi Xiangdo took out the low-grade war sword and said, if you are willing to become a member of the Hunters Guild, according to the regulations, the guild will protect the safety of your family for free, and naturally you will not need to pay corresponding remuneration. So this war sword can be returned to you. Many king-level warriors may not possess a low-grade earth-level warrior, especially in Yunlong County, where earth-level warriors are even rarer, because forging earth-level warriors first requires not only various precious ores, but also materials. And a 5th level forging master is needed. Only the Forgers Guild branch in Yunlong County has a 5th level forging master with a distinguished status. It is difficult for many strong martial kings to ask him to forge a combat weapon. Luo Xiu could see the reluctance in Yi Xiangdo, the martial arts master's eyes, so he smiled and said, since this sword has been given to senior, is there any reason to take it back? Without the help of the seniors this time, the juniors would not be able to rescue their loved ones from the martial palace. How can this kind of kindness be matched by a war sword? What's more, if the junior has a low cultivation level, swaggering through the city with this sword is purely to make people jealous and is tantamount to seeking death. Instead of keeping it useless, it is better to give it to the senior. From now on, the junior's family will still be able to live in Qinyan City. I need seniors to take care of me. What Luo Xiu said was reasonable and reasonable. Yi Xiangdo was an experienced man, how could he not understand what Luo Xiu meant? Okay, as long as your relatives are in Qinyan City, I will not allow anyone to hurt them even a hair. Yi Xiangdo agreed directly. With this low-grade battle sword, his strength will be a lot of improvement. Coupled with the 6th grade Qinyuan Gong obtained from Luo Xiu, he hopes to reach a higher level of cultivation in the next 10 years. Luo Xiu also knew that he could not always protect his loved ones. Joining the Hunters Guild would solve his worries and was undoubtedly the best choice. Yi Xiangdo gave Luo Xiu another book, with only 3 simple pages, which contain some rights and obligations of genius members. According to the records in the book, genius members themselves cannot receive free protection from the Hunter Guild, except for their own relatives. Because the growth of a genius requires many hardships and the experience of life and death, the Hunters Guild will not interfere. In Luo Xiu's personal grudges, however, he can rely on his permission rights to obtain various intelligence collected by the Hunter Guild. A low-level Huang-level genius is equivalent to the permission rights of a martial arts master in the god-refining realm who recruits external members. This means that Luo Xiu's permission and status in the Hunters Guild are equivalent to those of a strong man like Yi Xiangdo. This is also the reason why Yi Xiangdo's attitude towards him was somewhat different before and after. Luo Xiu composed himself, glanced at Yi Xiangdo sitting opposite, and said, "Junior wants to ask Senior to do me a favor." "You said it." Yi Xiangdo nodded. He accepted Luo Xiu's Earth-level war sword. If he owed him a favor, he would help as long as it was within his ability. The next morning, Luo Xiu took the teleportation array from Qingyun City to Yunlong County City. In the Hunters Guild branch of Yunlong County, Luo Xiu met the legendary branch president. "Let me introduce myself. I am Wen Qianhong, the president of the Yunlong County branch of the Tianwu Kingdom." The president was wearing a white Confucian scholar's robe. He smiled in a gentle and elegant manner, and did not reveal the slightest trace of a warrior's aura. But it is such a person who holds a pivotal position in the land of Yunlong County. "Mr. President." Luo Xiu stepped forward and saluted respectfully. When Qianhong smiled and nodded, "Sit down." Luo Xiu thanked him and then sat down. He originally planned to ask Yi Xiangdo to come forward, but he did not expect that he would end up alarming the branch president. "I already know everything about you. Do you know why Lu Feichen attacked you?" When Qianhong got straight to the point, Luo Xiu shook his head. It was precisely because he didn't know all this that he wanted to find out. He originally wanted to ask Yi Xiangdo to come forward and let him meet Lu Feichen to find out. Later, Yi Xiangdo told the branch president about this matter, and this led to the current scene. Some time ago, Master Xiaoyao was seriously injured in the Jiufeng Mountains. He will die in no more than half a month at most. When Qianhong said, even though the news had been blocked by Xiaoyao's sect, the Hunters Guild still knew everything about it. When something like this happens, there will naturally be a fight for the position of leader within Xiaoyao's sect. Among them, the two inner sect elders who have the loudest voices are Di Sigu and Kong Qingyu, and Lu Feichen is Kong Qingyu's proud disciple. Hearing this, Luo Xiu couldn't help but frown. This was obviously a power struggle within Xiaoyao's sect. Lu Feichen was also involved in a lot, but what does this have to do with him, a small Qihai warrior? At this moment, when Qianhong continued, compared with Di Sigu, Kong Qingyu has relatively few supporters. If there is no accident, the position of head will fall into Di Sigu's hands, and once Di Sigu when Gu becomes the leader, he will definitely try his best to eliminate Kong Qingyu's gang members to consolidate his power and prestige. Among the inner sect, the three elders Go Hongyi, Quan Yongchen, and Deng Zhihui are sworn brothers and sisters. They have always advanced and retreated together. Among them, Go Hongyi is the eldest brother. He has a grandson named Go Jinchuan, who was Lu Feichen's daughter Lu Mengyao a few years ago. Pursuer. When Qianhong told all the causes and consequences that he knew. After listening to Luo Xiu, he suddenly realized, it turns out that the reason why he was involved in this power struggle and almost became a victim was because he was too close to Lu Mengyao. Lu Feichen wanted to kill himself so that Lu Mengyao would completely give up the idea, and then let her marry Go Jinchuan, so that Kong Qingyu could gain the support of the three inner sect elders. You already know the ins and outs of this, so there's no need to take the risk to find Lu Feichen. When Qianhong slowly said, logically speaking, this is your personal private matter, so according to the regulations, the guild will not directly intervene and will only provide you with relevant intelligence information. When Qianhong obviously had a business-oriented attitude and would not break the rules just because Luo Xiu was already an internal genius member, these rules are the foundation of the Hunters Guild. Once a precedent is set, big troubles can easily occur. Then can I issue a bounty mission and seek the protection of the strong martial king in the guild? Luo Xiu's sudden words made when Qianhong stunned. Issuing a bounty mission is a normal way and is certainly not within the limits of the rules. However, the price of seeking help from a powerful martial king is not comparable to that of a martial arts master. When Qianhong laughed dumbly and said, I know that you, a little guy, can come up with 6th grade skills and low-grade earth-grade warriors, so you must have some luck, but do you know what kind of reward you need to pay to ask a strong man from the king of martial arts to help? Of course, Luo Xiu didn't know about this, but he felt that as the 5th level casting master of King Buckenwu, it was definitely enough to ask the powerful King Wu to take action for the many treasures he had left behind. Things below the 5th level are meaningless to the strong king of martial arts. As far as I know, your earth-level warrior was given to Yi Xiangdo, right? When Qianhong said this, not thinking that Luo Xiu can get other 5th-level treasures, 5th-level treasures are priceless in Yunlong County. Many martial king masters have 1 or 2 5th-level treasures in their hands, which is considered quite rich. When Qianhong didn't explain much and directly gave Luo Xiu a list, for a bounty mission to seek asylum, hiring a martial king from the 1st level to the 3rd level requires 1 to 2 5th-level treasures, the 4th level to the 6th level of King Wu requires 3 to 5 5th-level treasures. The 7th level of King Wu requires 6 5th-level treasures, the 8th level of the martial king requires 7 5th-level treasures, the 9th level of King Wu requires 10 5th-level treasures. As for the strong men at the peak of the 9th level of King Wu, for such beings, the value of 5th-level treasures is of little significance. Only 6th-level treasures can make their hearts flutter. This list given by Wen Qianhong will make any Qihai warrior take a breath of air when they see it, but Luo Xiu was very calm, because there were many 5th-level treasures in his storage ring, among which the low-level earth-level swords fell into this category. He gave 1 to Yi Xiangdo, and he still had 20 more. He even has 2 earth-level middle-grade battle swords, which are 6th-level treasures. The so-called division of treasure levels is determined based on the treasures corresponding to the cultivation needs of the warriors. For example, innate martial masters need 3rd-level treasures, refining martial arts masters need 4th-level treasures, and martial kings need 5th-level treasures. If it is a 3rd-level treasure, it will have no effect on the god-refining martial sect and cannot enhance its own strength. The 4th-level treasure has the same meaning for the strong martial king. Martial arts skills can also be classified into the classification of treasure levels. For example, Luo Xiu asked Yi Xiangdo to take action, and what he came up with was the 6th-grade medium-grade dazzling true skill, which is basically equivalent to the value of a 4th-grade top treasure. If it is a 6th-grade martial arts, its value is equivalent to a 5th-grade treasure. As for the 7th-level martial arts, only a few powerful martial arts kings can get the opportunity to practice. Only now did Luo Xiu understand what a huge wealth the treasure house resources left by King Buchan Wu were. Even if the wealth of many powerful martial kings were accumulated, none of them would be as rich as him alone, because martial king Buchen is a 5th-level casting master. Compared with ordinary warriors, casters, formation masters, and alchemists are undoubtedly the richest group of people once they can reach high levels. Chapter 62 Confrontation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ever since Lu Feichen sent people to arrest Luo Xiu's relatives and put him to death, Luo Xiu knew that he would never be able to return to Xuanhuan again. Since his parents and sister are protected by the Hunter Guild for free, Luo Xiu can travel far away to practice and improve his cultivation strength. As long as he doesn't die and his cultivation grows stronger and stronger day by day, no one will dare to touch his relatives. Strong strength is the foundation for a foothold, but this matter involves Lu Mengyao, so Luo Xiu naturally can't just walk away. He had to meet Lu Mengyao and ask her clearly whether she should continue to stay at Xuanhuan or leave with him. Because this was a private matter, the Hunters Guild would not directly intervene, so Luo Xiu could only take a more official approach, issuing bounty tasks and obtaining help from the strong men in the guild. What is the cultivation strength of the inner sect elders in Xiaoyao sect? Luo Xiu asked Wen Qianhong after pondering for a moment. Except for the seriously injured head Xiaoyao, who was previously at the 4th level of king, the strongest ones currently are Di Sigu and Kong Qingyu, who are competing for the position of head, and are both at the 3rd level of king. When Qianhong said, hearing this, Luo Xiu nodded, which meant that as long as he hired a strong man at the 4th level of the martial arts king, he should be able to ensure his safety. This time, he was preparing to go deep into the tiger's den and face Lu Feichen and Lu Mengyao, so the first premise was to ensure that his safety would not cause problems. Under Wen Qianhong's surprised gaze, Luo Xiu took out 3 treasures from the storage ring, a low-grade earth-level war sword, a diamond-shaped array plate with shining black luster, and a fiery red jade bottle. Seeing these 3 things, Wen Qianhong was sure that Luo Xiu must have received the inheritance left by a certain martial king, because this was the 2nd earth-level low-grade war sword he had taken out. What's more, the other two things, one is a 5th level array treasure, and the other should be a 5th level elixir. Luo Xiu put these 3 things on the table, looked at Wen Qianhong, and said, "This junior wants to ask a strong man at the 4th level of the king to help." Wen Qianhong did not speak, but first checked whether these 3 treasures belonged to the 5th level. The 5th grade elixir fire cloud pill. This is quite a good thing. When he saw the elixir in the jade bottle, Wen Qianhong's eyes lit up slightly. Immediately, he put away these 3 treasures and said with a smile, "I happen to be at the 4th level of King Wu, so I personally accepted this commission from you." "Thank you, senior." Luo Xiu immediately stood up and saluted. It would be best if Wen Qianhong could help him. "You don't need to thank me. I took your things and did things for you, which is what I should do." Wen Qianhong did not accept Luo Xiu's courtesy, and he kept a clear distinction between public and private matters. Then Wen Qianhong sent a letter to Xiaoyueman. A letter from President Moon. In Xiaoyueman, when Lu Feichen received the letter, he couldn't help but be slightly startled. When he saw what was written in the letter, his expression changed instantly. "What a Luo Xiu, I, Mr. Lu, have underestimated you, and you can actually invite me to be the president of Guild 1. Lu Feichen's eyes flashed with murderous intent. He immediately took out the sound transmission box and contacted his master, Kong Qingyu, the elder of the inner sect. "Since President Wen has come forward, it doesn't hurt to meet him." Kong Qingyu quickly replied. For Luo Xiu, with Wen Qianhong's intervention, all he had to do was wait. It didn't take long for Wen Qianhong to find him and said, "Lu Feichen has responded. Come with me." Following Wen Qianhong, Luo Xiu walked out of the Hunters Guild branch and then came to a luxurious restaurant in Yunlong County. In the private room on the highest floor of the restaurant, when Luo Xiu entered behind Wen Qianhong, he saw Lu Feichen already waiting in the private room. In addition to Lu Feichen, there was also an old man with white hair and a childish face, and a middle-aged man with a goatee. President 1. Lu Feichen and the old man with gray hair and boyish face stood up and saluted Wen Qianhong. Luo Xiu noticed that the middle-aged man with a goatee did not stand up to salute. It was obvious that his identity was not simple. Opposite the 3 people, Wen Qianhong sat down with Luo Xiu. If you can get President Wen to come forward in person, could this little guy be your new talented member?" The middle-aged man with a goatee suddenly squinted his eyes and smiled. "It has nothing to do with you, President Sheng." Wen Qianhong replied calmly. At the same time, a message from Wen Qianhong came directly to Luo Xiu's ears, telling him that the old man with white hair and childish face was Kong Qingyu, and the middle-aged man with the goatee was Xuanhuan, the president of the Array Master Guild branch. The 4 major guilds cooperate with each other, but they are also in a competitive relationship. As one of the 4 giants in Yunlong County, Wen Qianhong and Xuanhuan also have some dislike for each other. Faced with Wen Qianhong's cold response, Xuanhuan didn't care at all. He smiled and said, "According to the rules, the Hunters Guild is not allowed to interfere with personal grudges." "What is President Wen's explanation? Didn't you Xuanhuan also intervene? How can you explain it? It seems that the Array Master Guild does not have bounty missions." Wen Qianhong sneered. Obviously, Lu Feichen and Kong Qingyu knew that their identities were different from Wen Qianhong's, and were worried that they would suffer a loss, so they invited Xuanhuan. "My Array Master Guild is different from your Hunter Guild. I have a good relationship with Elder Kong, so I don't want you to bully the small ones, so I came here to have a look." Having said this, Xuanhuan's eyes fell on Luo Xiu and said with a smile, "President 1 is a 4th-level martial king. It's not easy for him to ask him to come forward with a bounty mission." As soon as these words came out, Lu Feichen and Kong Qingyu also looked at Luo Xiu at the same time. Insidious old thing. Luo Xiu couldn't help but curse in his heart. What Xuanhuan said just now clearly had ulterior motives. It would make others think that he could issue a bounty mission and ask President Chuan to come forward. He must have a 5th-level treasure on his body. However, after all, Xuanhuan was a giant with the same status as Wen Qianhong, so Luo Xiu could only bite the bullet and said, "Senior, you are ridiculous. This junior is just lucky enough to have received the inheritance from a powerful 1st-level martial king. In fact, King Buchan-Wu was a strong man above the 7th level of the king, and a 5th level casting master. The reason why Luo Xiu said this was to explain that he could produce 5th level treasures, and on the other hand, he also told the 3 people on the opposite side that King Wu, even a 1st level expert, cannot keep any more good things. Luo Xiu was not sure whether Xuanhuan, Lu Feichen and Kong Qingyu would believe what he said, but he didn't expect that Xuanhuan would suddenly intervene in this matter, and there might be some changes. Where is Lu Mengyao? When Qianhong frowned and looked at Lu Feichen opposite, and said coldly, this time Luo Xiu asked me to come forward. He has some things to ask Lu Mengyao clearly in person. I have made it very clear in the letter. Where is she? Lu Feichen's identity may be very noble in the eyes of ordinary warriors, but to Wen Qianhong, it is far from it. Even if his identity is put aside, if Lu Feichen, a god-refining martial sect, dares to disobey him, a powerful martial king, he is simply seeking death. Feeling the coldness radiating from Wen Qianhong's body, Lu Feichen's expression changed slightly, but at this moment, a breath spread, resisting the breath emanating from Wen Qianhong. Xuanhuan said, Lu Mengyao's matter involves matters within Xiaoyao sect, even if President Wen accepts it, the commission of a bounty mission, but interfering in the internal battles of other forces is expressly prohibited by the guild. Luo Xiu on the side frowned slightly. Xuanhuan seemed to have an extremely clear understanding of the rules of the Hunter Guild. Xuanhuan, are you sure you want to speak in terms of rules? When Qianhong suddenly sneered, looking directly at Xuanhuan like a torch, as soon as he said this, Luo Xiu saw Xuanhuan's face change slightly and said, this is a matter between Lu Feichen, Lu Mengyao and Luo Xiu. I think it's better to let them talk about it themselves. Luo Xiu felt that this Xuanhuan was a bit evasive and seemed to be afraid to face Wen Qianhong's question directly. When Qianhong snorted coldly, looking a bit strong. Just now, he had the grandeur of being brave enough to stand up to President Wen, but his momentum plummeted. This made Lu Feichen and Kong Qingyu look at each other and feel something was wrong. After a conversation between the 2 giants, it was finally Luo Xiu's turn to speak. He looked at Lu Feichen and said, Master Lu, I already know the reasons why you want to kill me. Now I just want to see Mengyao. No. Lu Feichen flatly refused, as if there was no room for negotiation. Luo Xiu's expression turned cold, and his tone became much colder, and he said, Master Lu, I hope you won't go too far. If it weren't for Mengyao, you might not be able to sit here and talk to me now. For a person who wants to put himself to death, if the other person is not Lu Mengyao's father, he will definitely not have such a good temper to talk to him. He could even issue a reward mission to kill Lu Feichen in the Hunter Guild. I believe there will be strong men from the King of Martial Arts willing to do this business. The targets hunted by hunters are not only monsters. Are you threatening me? Lu Feichen's face also darkened. Although he was afraid of Wen Qianhong, who was Luo Xiu. How dare a mere Qi high warrior threaten a mighty god-refining martial sect like his? At the same time, he also released his momentum and pressed towards Luo Xiu. Lu Feichen, pay attention to your attitude. When Qianhong snorted coldly, and the aura exuded by Lu Feichen instantly collapsed. Master Lu, let me ask you one last time, do you agree or disagree that I want to see Mengyao? With Wen Qianhong beside him, Luo Xiu had no scruples and stood up directly, looking down at Lu Feichen forcefully and shouted. Lu Feichen was extremely aggrieved. As the master of the outer sect, when had any Qi high warrior dared to look down on him so arrogantly? So Lu Feichen didn't think about it at all and shouted coldly, you want to see my daughter, just dream. You will never want to see her in this life. The pent-up anger in Luo Xiu's heart was instantly ignited. He turned to look at Wen Qianhong. President, if I offer a reward for killing Lu Feichen, what kind of reward will I need to pay? The 3 treasures you gave me are enough to kill 3 Lu Feichen. Wen Qianhong replied directly. For him, Lu Feichen's life was at most the same as a 5th level treasure. Do you need me to kill him? A fierce murderous intention surged out of the seemingly gentle president. Chapter 63, Transformation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wen Qianhong's murderous intent was completely undisguised. Facing such a martial arts king who was extremely powerful regardless of his strength and status, Lu Feichen's face instantly became stiff. President 1, is it possible that the Hunters Guild wants to interfere in the internal affairs of my Xiaoyao sect? Kong Qingyu couldn't calm down anymore, looked at Wen Qianhong and said, he is also in the realm of a martial arts king. Although his strength and status are inferior to Wen Qianhong's, he is still qualified to talk to him. Wen Qianhong snorted coldly and withdrew his murderous intention. Naturally, he would not interfere in Xiaoyao sect's affairs, otherwise the Formation Master Guild, the Foundry Master Guild, and the Alchemist Guild would find excuses to target the Hunter Guild. There is always a delicate balance between the four major guilds. When he accepted Luo Xiu's employment, he was only responsible for protecting Luo Xiu's personal safety and could not directly help him kill Lu Feichen. When he said he wanted to kill Lu Feichen, he was just trying to scare him. Of course, if it is another force or a martial king among the casual cultivators, they will not be restricted by the Hunters Guild. Whether or not to kill Lu Feichen depends solely on personal wishes. In the box, the atmosphere between the two parties suddenly became tense. Luo Xiu could feel that Lu Feichen was determined not to let him see Mengyao, so as not to affect his plan. Moreover, Luo Xiu also knew very well that he could not continue to issue bounty tasks in the Hunter Guild to invite other strong men to take action. After all, he was a small and stingy sea warrior, and if he exposed too much wealth, he would definitely cause big trouble for himself. Master Lu, how do you want me to see Mengyao? Luo Xiu said in a gloomy tone. Lu Feichen snorted coldly, I advise you to give up on this idea. Mengyao has decided to get married to go Jinchuan in 3 days. Lu Feichen knew very well in his heart that if Luo Xiu and Mengyao were to meet, Luo Xiu would definitely tell Mengyao that he wanted to kill him, not to mention whether Mengyao would hate his father because of this incident. At least it is impossible to get the support of the 3 elders Go Hongyi. Snapped. Luo Xiu suddenly slapped the table and stood up. His eyes were full of anger and he looked directly at Lu Feichen. You use your daughter as a tool to fight for power, Lu Feichen, you are simply a beast. Luo Xiu roared and cursed. You dare to scold me? Lu Feichen's eyes were also filled with anger. When had his majestic martial arts master at the 9th level of divine refining ever been bullied like this? It's light to scold you. If it weren't for my lack of strength and if you weren't Mengyao's father, I would definitely kill you. Luo Xiu shouted coldly with contempt on his face. You! Lu Feichen was furious, but when Qianhong sitting next to Luo Xiu forced him to suppress his anger. A Qi High warrior is so arrogant. I wonder if President 1 will always be around to protect you. Sheng Huafeng said suddenly with a smile, the meaning of his words is very obvious, that is, if when Qianhong is not around, Luo Xiu, a small Qihai warrior, can't he be manipulated? Lu Feichen and Kong Qingyu obviously understood this truth, and secretly thought that they should let this boy be arrogant for a while, and then they would make him regret his actions today. There is no doubt that even if when Qianhong, the president, was invited to come forward, this negotiation still ended in collapse. Returning to the Hunters Guild, when Qianhong took out the 3 treasures given to him by Luo Xiu and placed them on the table. Because of the guild's rules, I cannot interfere in the internal affairs of other forces, so I can't help you today. You should put these things away. Although these 3 5th-level treasures are of great value to Wen Qianhong, given his status, he would not accept the reward without merit and covet these things from Luo Xiu. Anyway, if the president hadn't stepped forward, I, a Qihai warrior, would have come to visit me, and I wouldn't have known how I died. Luo Xiu has no intention of taking back these things. If he can use the 3 treasures to make friends with the president, plus Yi Xiangdo of Qingyun City, at least he will be able to have a certain degree of confidence in the safety of his parents and sister in Yunlong County in the future. Sure, when Qianhong smiled, not understanding what Luo Xiu was thinking, and he felt that Luo Xiu might have more than just this, but no matter how many things Luo Xiu has, they still belong to Luo Xiu, and he will not be greedy. Although you are now an internal genius member of the guild only provides skills and resources for cultivating geniuses, and does not provide protection, so I can't help you much. When Qianhong said slowly, you can also publish new bounty tasks in the Hunters Guild. As long as a non-Hunters Guild insider takes over the task, they will not be restricted by the guild rules and can take action at will. But no matter who takes this task, he will definitely offend Xiaoman. I guess it is difficult for anyone to take on such a task. Of course, when Qianhong didn't say anything, that is, if there is a trend of sufficient benefits, someone will definitely be willing to take over the task, but he doesn't think Luo Xiu can bring out such a big benefit, so that many powerful martial kings will follow the trend. If attached. And even if there were, it would definitely be a disaster rather than a blessing for a Qihai warrior to take out these things, even if he was a genius member of the guild. Although Luo Xiu was young, he understood this truth, but if Lu Mengyao was allowed to marry someone she didn't like and become a tool used by her father to fight for power, this would definitely be unacceptable to Luo Xiu. When Qianhong did not continue to reject the 3 treasures that Luo Xiu took out. He took out a jade bottle from the storage ring and said, "This is a body-changing pill that can change your appearance within 10 hours. If you must go to see Lu Mengyao, this pill can allow you to sneak into the Xiaoyuewei sect." Luo Xiu's eyes lit up when he saw this elixir. This was a 3rd-grade elixir. Although it was not precious, it was just right for him. He just had to be careful not to be discovered. "Thank you, President." Luo Xiu thanked him, picked up the elixir in the jade bottle, and turned to leave. In front of the gate of Xiaoyao Outer Sect's residence, there are 2 Outer Sect disciples who are responsible for guarding the gate. However, the guards here are not strict. As long as you show your identity token, you can enter. After all, there is no big secret in Xiaoyuemen. Even if someone sneaks in, there will be no benefit. Once discovered, it will be difficult to escape. Still dressed in black, after taking the bone transformation pill, Luo Xiu's height became shorter, his skin became a little darker, and his face changed a lot. He looked like a young man in his 20s, carrying a sword on his back. He came to the Xiaoyao Outer Sect, took out the identity token of the Outer Sect disciple, and entered directly without any obstruction. After coming in, Luo Xiu went straight to Lu Mengyao's residence without any delay. Although he looked a bit unfamiliar, there were many disciples of Xiaoyuewei sect, so no one doubted him. After walking through a bamboo forest and a gravel path, Luo Xiu saw a courtyard from a distance, located next to a small lake. This was Lu Mengyao's residence. Luo Xiu did not rush over and noticed several figures wandering near the courtyard. There is no doubt that these people must have been arranged by Lu Feichen to prevent him from hiding his identity and entering Xiaoyuemen to find Lu Mengyao. Once he gets there, he will definitely be discovered, and any innate martial artist can take him down without Lu Feichen coming over. The life perception spreads out, and within Luo Xiu's perception range, there are 7 life breaths belonging to warriors near the courtyard. There was a breath of life that Luo Xiu was very familiar with, and it belonged to Lu Mengyao. As for the other 6 breaths, in Luo Xiu's perception, there are 3 at the 7th level of Qi Si, 2 at the 8th level of Qi Si, and 1 at the 9th level of Qi Si. This discovery made Luo Xiu feel a little relieved. As long as there was no innate martial artist, he didn't have to worry about anything. The range of life perception can cover a range of more than 500 meters, and Luo Xiu did not find anyone else hiding. Thinking about this, Luo Xiu walked towards the courtyard. The 6 warriors wandering near the courtyard immediately noticed Luo Xiu approaching and surrounded him directly. "Who is coming?" asked the leader of the 9th level warrior of Qi Si. Luo Xiu frowned and said, "I'm here to visit Miss Lu. What do you mean by stopping me?" "The sect master has an order that anyone approaching Miss Lu's residence must confirm their identity. Please come with us," the warrior said indifferently. Upon hearing this, Luo Xiu was even more sure that Lu Feichen had been prepared for him to change his appearance and sneak in. Once he was taken away by these guys, his identity would be exposed. After all, the bone-transforming pill can be hidden from the innate martial arts masters, but it will definitely be seen through by the God-refining martial sect, because for a strong person who has reached the realm of God-refining, his soul perception is condensed into telekinesis, and it is easy to see through the disguise of the bone-transforming pill. Luo Xiu knew that taking action was inevitable. Now that he decided to take action, Luo Xiu made the first move and immediately used the flashing sword style in the Aurora sword technique to lock on the leader of the 9th level Qi Si warrior. How outrageous! How dare you disobey the sect master's order? Get him! The leader of the Qi High warrior shouted angrily and was about to draw his sword. There was a clang, and fire splashed everywhere. The warrior he led was at the 9th level of the Qi Si after all. Even Luo Xiu's fast sword couldn't kill him with a single frontal strike, and was blocked by the long knife in the opponent's hand. However, Luo Xiu's left hand was not idle, and he punched out again, as fast as thunder, and the speed of the strike was no slower than the sword. The face of the leader of the 9th level Qi Si warrior changed slightly, but he didn't pay too much attention. He condensed his true energy to form a protective shield on his body. He thought to himself that even if he was hit by this person's fist, with the defense of his true energy body, he wouldn't be able to do anything. How much hurt? Bang! In a flash of lightning, Luo Xiu's fist hit the opponent's chest firmly. With this punch, Luo Xiu did not hold anything back, directly damaging the life veins through the body's protective energy. The 9th level warrior of the Sea of Qi flew out, blood spurted from his mouth, and he fainted to the ground, unable to sustain serious injuries. At this time, the other 5 outer disciples reacted. Buzz! The shadow sword in his hand trembled. Luo Xiu was not a merciful person. His sword light was like black lightning, just a few flickers. The 4 Qi-Hai warriors who surrounded him all fell to the ground, their throats were cut, and blood spurted out. Luo Xiu knew very well that if he did not kill these people, once he let them report the news, Lu Feichen would definitely die because of Lu Feichen's murderous intentions towards him. At this moment, Lu Mengyao in the room heard the noise and opened the door, just in time to see Luo Xiu killing those warriors. Who are you? Lu Mengyao screamed in shock. She never expected that someone in Xiaoyuemen would dare to kill someone. Mengyao, it's me, I'm Luo Xiu. Luo Xiu said quickly, I took the bone transformation pill and my appearance changed. Chapter 64 Lu Mengyao's Decision. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although Luo Xiu had changed his appearance with the bone transformation pill at this moment, after Lu Mengyao was surprised, she was sure that the person in front of her was Luo Xiu. Is it really you? Didn't you leave Yunlong County? What happened to these people? Lu Mengyao was filled with doubts when she saw Luo Xiu. I have never left. These people should be arranged by your father to monitor you around here. Luo Xiu said directly. Lu Mengyao looked confused, somewhat confused as to what Luo Xiu's words meant. Several corpses were lying on the ground. Luo Xiu knew very well that his time was limited, so he kept the story short and told Lu Feichen that he had sent people to arrest his relatives with the intention of putting him to death. This is impossible. After hearing this, Lu Mengyao's pretty face turned pale. Just the day before yesterday, her father told her that Luo Xiu had left with the resources. At that time, she felt that Luo Xiu was definitely not this kind of person, but she never expected that her father had actually done so many tricks in secret. She also didn't expect that in order to fight for power, her father would not only sacrifice the happiness of her daughter's life, but even kill Luo Xiu. Seeing Lu Mengyao's blank eyes and pale face, Luo Xiu suddenly regretted telling her these things. After all, it must be unbearable for Lu Mengyao to know that her father was such an insidious person, but Luo Xiu soon put this idea behind him, because in comparison, he did not want Lu Mengyao to become a tool or victim of Lu Feichen's struggle for power. Mengyao, come with me, let's leave here. Luo Xiu couldn't bear to see her sad look. He came here this time to tell her the truth of the matter and then take her away from Yunlong County. Elope? Lu Mengyao looked at Luo Xiu in front of her. After learning the truth of the matter, she really wanted to leave, but what will happen to my father if I leave? Her mother died of illness when she was very young, and it was her father who raised her single-handedly and took great care of her. Once he left and Patriarch Kong Qingyu failed to compete for the position of head, his father would also be implicated and his life would be in danger. Mengyao, come with me quickly. If you don't leave, it will be too late. Luo Xiu said anxiously, while reaching out to hold Lu Mengyao's hand, because in his life perception, several outer disciples were approaching here. No. I can't leave. Lu Mengyao suddenly took a few steps back, with red eyes and tears. Luo Xiu, go on your own. At the moment when she decided to choose, she finally chose her father between Luo Xiu and her father. She couldn't let go of Luo Xiu, but she couldn't just watch her father die. She couldn't be an unfilial daughter. Luo Xiu, the time I spent with you was the happiest time in my life, but I really can't leave with you. Since the onset of the Huiyang Jimui disease, I thought that I would not live until more than 20 years old at most in this life, but I didn't expect to meet Luo Xiu. It was Luo Xiu who gave her hope of survival, and after getting along with him for a period of time, she also fell in love with this man who was much younger than herself. But all of this suddenly changed at the moment when they came to Xuanhuan to meet again. Not far away, several figures were vaguely visible. Mengyao, are you sure you want to stay? Luo Xiu knew what Lu Mengyao was thinking. The reason why she stayed was for her father. She would rather give up the relationship between the two and her own happiness. Seeing Lu Mengyao nodding, Luo Xiu asked again, if Lu Feichen was really a good father, he wouldn't use these conspiracies and tricks to force you to marry that go Jinchuan. You have to think clearly. Luo Xiu, I'm sorry. Lu Mengyao's face was filled with tears, and she cried even more sadly. She knew that once Luo Xiu turned around and left, it would be impossible for the two of them and they would no longer be in the same world. A bold and crazy man actually killed a fellow disciple. Catch him. Protect Miss Lu. At this moment, 7 or 8 outer disciples saw the corpses, and at the same time saw Luo Xiu, and heard Lu Mengyao's cry. The sounds of swords being unsheathed came one after another, and the outer disciples gathered around. At the same time, one person retreated quietly, probably to send a message. Luo Xiu knew that he had to leave, otherwise his life would be at risk. He sighed and reached out to wipe away the tears on Lu Mengyao's face, but she cried even more sadly and couldn't stop her tears. I do not blame you. Luo Xiu said this, then turned and left. Luo Xiu did not get entangled with the few outer disciples who were besieging them. He swayed, leaving behind a few afterimages. He passed 2 of them in an instant and flew away into the distance. Chase. We can't let him escape. There are many disciples of Xuanhuan sect. As more and more people are alerted and join the pursuit and encirclement, it becomes more and more difficult for Luo Xiu to escape from here. The only thing that made him more fortunate was that this area was the residence of the outer sect disciples. The residences of those innate cultivation deacons and Lu Feichen were far away from each other. As long as they escaped before their masters arrived, they would be safe. No worries, because the Hunters Guild is opposite Xuanhuan. Even Lu Feichen would never dare to attack him as long as he enters the guild hall. Relying on the Shifang afterimage movement technique, Luo Xiu was very fast, trying his best to avoid confrontation along the way, and soon arrived near the gate of the station. Bold thief, how can I come to my free door and leave whenever you want? Suddenly, an angry shout came, and a young man with a stern face appeared in front of the gate of the station. His long sword suddenly unsheathed and struck Luo Xiu with one strike. It's senior brother Gu Yongkang. Since senior brother Gu has taken action, unless he is a Xiantian realm martial artist, this thief will definitely not be able to escape. Because of the transformation pill, these outer disciples naturally could not recognize that the person they were chasing was Luo Xiu. Luo Xiu was no stranger to Gu Yongkang. He was the number 1 outer disciple of Feilong Pagoda and was said to be a master at the peak of the 9th level of Qi Si. Brush. Luo Xiu's body swayed, leaving an afterimage on the spot. Almost instantly, he dodged Gu Yongkang's knife. Luo Xiu knew very well that Gu Yongkang blocked the door, and if he wanted to leave, he had to defeat this person. Buzz. Waving the shadow sword in his hand, the black sword light flashed across like lightning. Gu Yongkang snorted coldly. Judging from the aura of the guy who broke into Xuanhuan, he was just a 3rd-level Qi Si warrior. Under normal circumstances, a guy of this level was not worth his while. However, when he discovered that the speed of the opponent's sword was as fast as the extreme, his expression suddenly changed wildly. How could a warrior of the 3rd level of Qi Si have such a fast speed and such a fierce attack? Gu Yongkang didn't have time to think carefully and quickly used his body skills to dodge, but Luo Xiu's sword was obviously faster, leaving a blood mark on his chest. At the same time, the moment Gu Yongkang dodged the sword, Luo Xiu suddenly accelerated, like a fleeting glimpse, trying to escape from Xiao Yueman. Where to escape? An old man with flying beard and hair flew towards this place. His speed was so fast that even if Luo Xiu used all his strength to use the 10 directions afterimage, he would still be far behind. Zhang Luoyang. Luo Xiu recognized the old guy who had a grudge against him at a glance, and he also knew that this Zhang Luoyang was a great martial artist at the 9th level of innate realm. Boy, do you think I can't recognize you after using the bone transformation pill? Master Lu didn't kill you. It seems you are destined to die in my hands. Zhang Luoyang's face was as cold as frost, and he used his true energy to transmit his voice, and his voice echoed in Luo Xiu's ears. Obviously, when Zhang Luoyang said these words, he must also know that Lu Feichen wanted to kill him in Qingyun City. In fact, from Zhang Luoyang's point of view, the leader of the Lu family simply took off his pants and farted in vain. Since he wanted to kill this Luo Xiu, why did he protect him in the first place? Couldn't he just let him die? The fight for the position of leader is a secret of the inner sect. With Lu Liang's status, he doesn't know the inside story. The reason why he knew that Lu Feichen wanted to kill Luo Xiu was through the Zhang family in Qingyun City, and he also knew that Luo Xiu had killed the current head of the Zhang family. Boom! Before Zhang Luoyang could come over, he struck out a palm from a distance, releasing his fierce qi, forming a roaring wind and hitting Luo Xiu. Luo Xiu's first reaction was to avoid it, but he was still blown by the strong wind. He opened his mouth and spurted blood, and flew out as if he was struck by lightning. However, Luo Xiu also took the opportunity to escape from the Xiaoyuemen station. He endured his injuries, crossed the street, and staggered into the Hunters' Guild. Damn it! Zhang Luoyang also flew out of Xiaoyuemen. When he saw that Luo Xiu had fled into the Hunters' Guild, his expression suddenly became gloomy and ugly. Fighting are prohibited in the Hunters' Guild, and even if he had 100 courages, he would not dare to pursue Luo Xiu. In fact, it is precisely because of the existence of this rule that many warriors will flee to the Hunters' Guild to seek refuge when being hunted. After escaping into the Hunters' Guild, Luo Xiu spit out another mouthful of blood, causing many warriors inside to look over curiously. However, he ignored the looks of these people and did not go to the reception desk in the hall. He walked directly to a stone door in the corner of the hall. There was a groove next to the stone door. Luo Xiu took out the hunter badge and inserted it into it, and the stone door opened directly. Every hunter guild has such a place, and only internal members of the guild can enter with badges. The personal information about Luo Xiu, who has become an internal genius member, has also been recorded in the hunter badge. In Lu Mengyao's courtyard residence, Lu Feichen looked at his daughter whose eyes were red and still crying. He said nothing because he knew very well that Luo Xiu must have been here, and Lu Mengyao already knew the truth of the matter. At this time, the more he explains, the more his daughter will hate him. Regarding this matter, Lu Feichen did not think that he had done anything wrong, but put all his hatred on Luo Xiu. He felt that if Luo Xiu had not appeared, the relationship between his daughter Mengyao and himself would definitely not be the same. There will be this disconnect. He used the sound transmission box to send a message, ordering the 18 cities Martial Hall in Yunlong County to keep an eye on the Hunter Guild, especially Qingyun City, and report it immediately if Luo Xiu was discovered. Although Luo Xiu's parents were protected by the Hunters' Guild, which prevented him from acting rashly, he felt that Luo Xiu would definitely go to Qingyun City even if he used the teleportation array. Of course, he did not rule out the possibility that Luo Xiu would teleport to other cities, so he would make unified arrangements and widen the search net. Chapter 65 Accident. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hunters Guild. Luo Xiu's face turned pale and he staggered into the area where the internal members were. A woman with a delicate face and delicate figure walked towards him. Seeing Luo Xiu's appearance, she quickly came over to support him. A wisp of the woman's fragrance hit the tip of his nose, and Luo Xiu said weakly, "Take me to a quiet room." At the same time, Luo Xiu also saw this woman's face, but he didn't expect that she was still an acquaintance, the most beautiful woman in the Hunters Guild of Qingyun City, Jiang Shanshan. But at this moment, Luo Xiu had no intention of thinking about why Jiang Shanshan appeared in the Yunlong County Guild. He needed to find a place to recover from his injuries. Are you okay? Jiang Shanshan helped Luo Xiu and came to a simple and clean room. Luo Xiu curled his lip speechlessly. "Do you think I'm fine?" Jiang Shanshan was a little embarrassed when she heard this and said, "That's not what I meant. What I meant was, does it matter whether your injury is serious? How can I help you? You put me here and I can heal myself." Luo Xiu said. While talking, Jiang Shanshan helped Luo Xiu sit down, then turned and left, closing the door. "This is inside the Hunters Guild, so there is no need to worry about safety issues." Luo Xiu immediately sat cross-legged on the bed and started to repair the injury by running his skills. The strong wind struck by Zhang Luoyang's palm contained innate true energy. Just a scratch caused his muscles and bones to break and his meridians to be damaged. This shows that there is still a big gap between his current strength and the innate martial arts master. In the Dantian, the wheels of life and death are constantly rotating, and streams of true energy containing rich power of life surge out, flowing throughout the body, repairing damaged life veins everywhere. After an hour or so, Luo Xiu opened his eyes. All the broken muscles and bones and damaged meridians had recovered as before. Squeak. The door was slowly pushed open. Luo Xiu looked up and saw the president, Wen Qianhong, walking in. "Has the injury recovered?" When Xuanhuan walked in and sat down and asked with a smile, Luo Xiu nodded, stood up and saluted. "Thank you, President, for your help this time." He knew very well that without the bone transformation pill given to him by Wen Qianhong, it would have been impossible for him to sneak into Xiaoyuemen. He would probably have been discovered as soon as he entered and would never be able to get out again, but when he thought of Lu Mengyao's final decisive choice, Luo Xiu couldn't help but smile bitterly. He knew very well that from now on, the two of them would be strangers and no longer in the same world. Looking at Luo Xiu's expression, with Wen Qianhong's sophistication, how could he still not understand what was going on? Everyone has their own choice and their own path to take. If they choose different paths, they will naturally not be able to get together. When Qianhong said with a smile, Luo Xiu also knew that the president was trying to comfort himself, so he smiled and replied, "Maybe this is what is meant by the difference between Tao and Dao." You can understand it that way." When Qianhong nodded and smiled. 9 out of 10 things in life are going to be unsatisfactory. You still have a long road ahead. If you want to achieve success in martial arts training, the first thing you have to do now is to become an innate martial artist within a year. Level of strength. Talented members within the guild undergo an assessment every year. If they fail to meet the assessment requirements, they will no longer be able to be trained by the guild. The Hunters Guild has almost no restrictions on the freedom to cultivate geniuses, and it also does not provide any protection. Whether they can grow up depends entirely on personal opportunities and abilities. Of course, depending on the license rights, genius members can also obtain information, materials, techniques, and resources from the Hunters Guild. As long as you can meet the conditions, the guild will provide them for free. Luo Xiu also understood what President Wen Qianhong meant. Now that Lu Mengyao's matter had been basically settled, he also planned to devote his main energy to martial arts training from now on. When Qianhong did not stay with Luo Xiu for long. The reason why he looked at Luo Xiu differently was because Luo Xiu had good talent, and this young man made him more pleasing to the eye. There is no shortage of geniuses in this world, but there is a shortage of geniuses who can grow into strong men. After when Qianhong left, Luo Xiu began to practice in the room. In the past period of time, his main energy was on comprehending the wheel of life and death and the quick sword art. He did not pay much attention to the improvement of his own cultivation. Take it too seriously, but this time Xiaoyuemen was injured by Zhang Luoyang, which made him understand the importance of cultivation. If the gap in cultivation between the enemy and ourselves is large enough, he can have the strength to crush his opponent. For example, this is the case with Zhang Luoyang. In terms of realm, he may be far inferior to Luo Xiu, but because his cultivation level exceeds Luo Xiu's by so much, he can make up for the gap in martial arts realm and have the combat power to crush Luo Xiu. Cultivation and realm are extremely important. Luo Xiu understood the original laws of the wheels of life and death, and coupled with the practice of Kuai Jianju, his martial arts level was quite high, and many innate martial arts masters could not compete with him, but his cultivation Level is relatively low, only the third level of Qi Si. It is relatively easier to improve your cultivation than your realm, as long as you have enough resources and good talent. With the 5th level spirit gathering formation device and the middle grade vitality stone, Luo Xiu was completely immersed in the rapid improvement of his cultivation. After Luo Xiu left, Lu Mengyao didn't know how long she cried until she finally passed out from crying. When she woke up in confusion, she found herself lying on the bed, and her father, Lu Feichen, was sitting at the table not far away. Luo Xiu. The last scene where Luo Xiu said goodbye to her appeared in her mind, especially the 4 words "I don't blame you," which made her heart full of guilt. She knew very well that Luo Xiu almost died because of her, and even his parents and sisters were implicated, but the person who did all this was her father, who loved her the most, and she finally chose to separate from Luo Xiu for her father's sake, and they have been strangers ever since. "Mengyao, you're awake." Lu Feichen looked over. "Dad, where is Luo Xiu?" Lu Mengyao suddenly remembered that Luo Xiu had killed several outer disciples. Did he escape? Was he caught? Was he injured? Thinking of this, she looked at her father even more anxiously and fearfully. Lu Feichen sighed and said, "Luo Xiu fled into the Hunters' Guild." Hearing that Luo Xiu was fine, Lu Mengyao breathed a sigh of relief, and then said, "Dad, please stop targeting him, okay? I promise to marry Go Jinchuan." She knew that Luo Xiu had killed several outer disciples. If Xiaoyao's sect pursued this matter, there would be no place for him in the entire Yunlong County. "Okay, Dad promises you not to pursue this matter." Lu Feichen comforted her with a smile. However, a cold light flashed in Lu Feichen's eyes. He promised Lu Mengyao to appease her emotions. How could it be possible for him to let go of that little beast Luo Xiu? Time passed quietly, and a month passed before I knew it. During this period, Luo Xiu never left the Hunters' Guild and practiced hard in seclusion without anyone disturbing him. None of the major martial arts halls in the 18 cities in the county found any clues about him, but under Lu Feichen's order, they always sent people to keep an eye on the major hunter branches. On this day, Luo Xiu slowly opened his eyes in the room. In a whole month, he used more than 100 middle-grade vitality stones, and his cultivation level broke through 2 small levels in succession, reaching the 5th level of Qi Si. Heavy realm. As soon as he walked out of the room, he saw President Wen Xianhong, and then he learned that a major event had happened at Xiaoyao's sect during his retreat. Half a month ago, the head of Xiaoyao fell. Before Lu Feichen could marry his daughter Lu Mengyao to Go Jinchuan, the fight for the head position was imminent. Kong Qingyu failed in his bid for the position of leader, Di Sigu became the new generation leader, and Kong Qingyu's lineage was suppressed. 10 days ago, Lu Feichen was seriously injured and led Lu Mengyao to escape from Xiaoyao Gate. He is now in the Hunters' Guild. President Wen Xianhong told Luo Xiu such news, because he was practicing in seclusion before. President Wen Xianhong waited until he came out of seclusion before telling Luo Xiu about it. Luo Xiu also didn't expect that things would suddenly change like this. In a quiet room, Luo Xiu saw Lu Mengyao with tears on her face. Her face was pale and she looked very haggard. On the bed in the room, Lu Feichen's breath was weak. In Luo Xiu's eyes, his life veins were dim, surrounded by a black aura of death. Lu Feichen was a martial arts master at the 9th level of the God Refining. His life veins originally emitted a blue halo, but at this moment, his life veins showed a black death energy. It was obvious that he was not going to die soon. Although Luo Xiu's bipolar energy of life and death can repair the veins of life, he knows very well that his cultivation level is too low, and there is nothing he can do to save Lu Feichen's situation. Moreover, even if he could save him, for an enemy who once wanted to put him to death and attack his relatives, even with Lu Mengyao's relationship, Luo Xiu might not be able to save him. Luo Xiu, I know you should hate me in your heart, but I hope you don't blame Mengyao for this. She likes you very much. If it weren't for my unfit father, she would definitely not be willing to separate from you. Perhaps it was because a person was about to die, but his words were also kind. Lu Feichen looked at Luo Xiu and said in a very calm tone, after I die, I hope you can help me take care of Mengyao. In order to break through to the realm of the king, I am obsessed with it, so don't blame her. Dad. Lu Mengyao cried heartbrokenly. Lu Feichen looked at his daughter with a smile. Mengyao, Dad is no longer here, you have to take care of yourself. Luo Xiu is very good. If you follow him, you will have a destination, and Dad will die without regrets. After your father dies, you can go to Dohai County and join the Leiwu sect. Then Lu Feichen looked at Luo Xiu again, with a hint of pleading. When things got to this point, Luo Xiu couldn't hold any grudge against a dying person, so he said, "Don't worry, Master Lu, I will take good care of Mengyao." Hearing Luo Xiu agreed, Lu Feichen finally felt relieved. Suddenly, black blood spilled from the corner of his mouth, and he slowly closed his eyes, no longer breathing. In Luo Xiu's eyes, the life veins on Lu Feichen's body also completely dimmed and disappeared in an instant. Dad! Lu Mengyao was heartbroken and burst into tears. She could not accept this reality. For the sake of her father, she gave up her relationship with Luo Xiu, but she didn't expect that she would lose her father after all. Luo Xiu didn't know how to comfort Lu Mengyao at this moment. Perhaps as President Wen Qianhong said, there are 9 out of 10 unsatisfactory things in a person's life. He stepped forward and patted Lu Mengyao on the shoulder. "Mengyao, your father has passed away, but he hoped that you could live well. You must be strong." To be honest, Luo Xiu really doesn't know how to comfort others. Lu Mengyao threw herself into his arms, unable to suppress the sadness in her heart. Her father's sudden departure made her feel as if she had lost all support. Before losing her father, she had already lost Luo Xiu, as if she had nothing left. Chapter 66 Go Jinchuan, 1/2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 66 Go Jinchuan. For 3 days, Luo Xiu had been by Lu Mengyao's side. Her expression became more and more haggard, but perhaps because of Luo Xiu's company, she finally calmed down her sad mood. "I want to bury my father on a mountain outside the city." After her emotions calmed down, Lu Mengyao expressed her thoughts. "When I was very young, my father often took me to play on that mountain and taught me martial arts." Probably because she remembered every bit of time she had spent with her father in the past, Lu Mengyao's eyes became red again, and tears rolled down her cheeks. "I'll go with you." Luo Xiu said. Lu Feichen was dead, and Luo Xiu had no so-called hatred or prejudice against him. Lu Feichen's body had been placed in a coffin, and then put into the storage ring by Lu Mengyao. Although more than half a month had passed since the fight for the leadership, when Luo Xiu and Lu Mengyao came out of the Hunters' Guild, he felt that they were being targeted. Lu Mengyao's mood was still a little low, and she didn't notice anything. According to Luo Xiu's perception, there were 6 people following him not far away. Among them was a young man wearing brocade clothes, who was a master in the realm of innate martial arts. Luo Xiu did not remind Lu Mengyao that although there was an innate martial artist among the other party, through the perception of life breath, this person's cultivation was not as strong as Zhang Luoyang's, and he should be at the 2nd level of innate martial arts. After reaching the 5th level of Qi Si, Luo Xiu's strength also improved a lot. The true energy of life and death condensed from the wheels of life and death in his dantian formed a liquid state. Like a lake, he is not afraid of a 2nd level innate person. With his many methods, he should be able to compete with him. I didn't use the Hunter Guild's teleportation array to leave Yunlong County. God helps me. That the young man in brocade clothes stared at Lu Mengyao's back with cold eyes and said in a deep tone. "Sir, do you want to inform the outer and inner sects and send more experts over?" A 9th level Qi Si warrior next to him whispered. "I can easily deal with these 2 Qi High warriors." "Are you doubting my strength?" The young man in brocade said coldly. "I don't dare, my subordinates. The young master is in the realm of innate martial arts. It is easy to take down 2 Qi Si warriors." The 9th level Qi Si warrior was as silent as a cicada. "You guys, keep an eye on me. Without Lu Feichen as my backer, this little bitch Lu Mengyao is destined to be my darling. When I get tired of playing with you, I will give it to you to play with." The young man in genie looked grim. He said with an evil smile. Hearing this, the eyes of the people following the young man in genie suddenly lit up. When they passed by, Lu Mengyao was the proud daughter of the Xiaoyao sect, and none of the many female disciples in the sect could compare with her in beauty. If such a woman can be kissed and fragrant, it will be worth it even if she loses 10 years of life. Unknowingly, Luo Xiu and Lu Mengyao had already walked out of Yunlong County. Not far outside the city, there is a green hill covered with flowers and grass, and the scenery is very good. At the foot of the mountain, there is a green bamboo forest, and there is a river next to it. The water of the river is fast and clear. Finding a secluded open space, Lu Mengyao took out her father's coffin from the storage ring and planned to bury it here. Coffin? It seems that Lu Feichen is dead. A teasing sneer suddenly came, and along with the sound of footsteps, the young man in brocade clothes walked towards this side with 5 followers. Luo Xiu had already discovered these people, so there was no surprise. Lu Mengyao followed the sound, and when he saw the young man in brocade clothes who was leading them, his pretty face suddenly changed color. Go Jinchuan, is that you? What are you doing here? Are you following me? After hearing Lu Mengyao's panicked words, Luo Xiu realized that the young man in brocade clothes who was leading the group was Go Jinchuan, whom Lu Feichen planned for her to marry. This Go Jinchuan is the grandson of Go Hongyi, the elder of the inner sect, and one of the disciples of the inner sect. It is not surprising that he has the cultivation of an innate martial artist, because no matter what status you have, you must be at the innate realm to be qualified to become a disciple of the Xiaoyao inner sect. Except for Go Jinchuan, the 5 young men following him were all at the 9th level of Qi Si, and should all be disciples of the Ziyuewei sect. In the Xiaoyao sect, many outer disciples would choose to attach themselves to the inner disciples, and the weak would attach themselves to the strong. Coupled with Go Jinchuan's prominent background, it was naturally normal for the outer disciples to attach themselves to him. Mengyao, I am your fiancé, you should be happy to see me. Go Jinchuan touched his chin and smiled. I have nothing to do with you, so don't talk nonsense here. You know who you are. You have ruined so many female disciples in the outer and inner sections. Lu Mengyao said with a sullen face. Mengyao, you can't say that. This kind of thing is completely between you and me. It's an honor for those women to accompany me to bed. What's more, Uncle Lu planned to betroth you to me before, but something unexpected happened, so we didn't get married. Now that Uncle Lu's body is still cold, do you want to be an unfilial child? While speaking, Go Jinchuan looked around, touched his chin and smiled. This place has beautiful scenery. It would be unlucky for you to bury a dead person. There is no one around. I think it would be good to have a field battle. Immediately afterwards, Go Jinchuan pointed at Luo Xiu again. This boy should be that Luo Xiu. I heard that you like him very much. I wonder how you feel about being fucked by me in front of the person you like. After finishing speaking, Go Jinchuan laughed loudly and seemed to find his idea very interesting. Go Jinchuan, you pervert. Lu Mengyao was trembling with anger. Hey, you're right. What's wrong with me? I'm just a pervert. Aren't you very noble, little bitch? Now that Lu Feichen is dead, you are nothing more than a crotch toy to me. Master, how do I want to play with you? You, just play with you. Go Jinchuan licked his lips, pointed at Luo Xiu, and ordered to the people around him, you guys, please destroy this kid for me. Don't kill him yet. I want him to watch how I play with this little bitch. Yes. The 5 9th level warriors of the Qi Si immediately sneered and surrounded Luo Xiu, with hot madness in their eyes. One of them smiled evilly and said, when the young master has finished playing to his heart's content, it should be our turn, right? As soon as this was said, the other 4 people also laughed. Obviously they had done this kind of thing often. Luo Xiu remained silent from beginning to end, with only a pair of eyes as cold light, looking at the young people surrounding him as if they were looking at dead people. At this time, Go Jinchuan walked towards Lu Mengyao. Mengyao, I advise you not to resist. Even if you commit suicide, the young master can still play with your body. If you don't want to die, you'd better be obedient. You. Go Jinchuan, you have to die. Lu Mengyao's delicate body trembled with anger. Her father's bones were still cold. Did she also have to face being humiliated? She knew very well that Go Jinchuan had the cultivation of an innate martial artist and had 5 9th-level Qi warriors as his accomplices. She was unable to resist at all and would also implicate Luo Xiu. "Are you going to take off your clothes yourself or let me tear your clothes apart? If you are obedient, you will be toyed with by a few of my men at most. If you are disobedient, I will strip you naked and throw you to Yunlong County. Go to the streets of the city. Even if you die, I believe there will be many men who are interested in you." Go Jinchuan is just a pervert at heart. He likes to force women to obey him. Women who don't obey him will end up miserable. Ah! Suddenly, several screams came from the side, accompanied by the sound of blood splattering. Go Jinchuan frowned, thinking that those guys had killed Luo Xiu. When he looked up, he saw that Luo Xiu was still standing there fine, while the guys who came with him all fell down in a pool of blood. A bunch of trash, worse than beasts. Luo Xiu held a blood-stained sword in his hand, and he didn't hold back at all when he struck. Not only that, there was no pause in his movements. The shadow sword buzzed and trembled, leaving an afterimage of his figure on the spot. The moment Go Jinchuan looked at him, he slashed towards the opponent with a sword. Go Jinchuan's expression changed. He didn't expect that Luo Xiu could kill 5 9th-level Qi so easily. Things that don't know whether to live or die, this young master is in the innate realm. Go Jinchuan roared angrily, and aqua-blue innate Qi rose from his body like rippling water waves. Once martial arts cultivation reaches the innate realm, you can cultivate the power of attributes. The true energy that contains the power of attributes is also called innate true energy. What Go Jinchuan cultivates is the water attribute Qi. With one palm strike, the Qi surges like waves and hits Luo Xiu's sword light. The shadow sword collided with the water attribute innate true energy. Luo Xiu immediately felt a strong resistance resisting the sword in his hand. At the same time, there were waves of dark energy passing through the shadow sword, almost shaking the sword from his hand. "Fly, this is the innate true energy that contains the power of attributes, which is far more powerful than the true energy of the Qi warrior." Luo Xiu changed his moves instantly and held out the flashing sword. The fast sword flashed away like a beam of light and stabbed Go Jinchuan between the eyebrows. With this sword, Luo Xiu had no mercy. The 9th-level Qi warrior would never have time to dodge, and he would be pierced by the sword and die on the spot, but Go Jinchuan was an innate martial artist, and his reaction was much faster than that of Qi Haijiu. When he was in danger, he dodged and stabbed his temple with the shadow sword. Although he avoided the vital point between his eyebrows, the fierce wind brought by the sword edge scraped blood marks on his face, dripping with blood. "Little beast, I want you to die." Go Jinchuan was furious, took out a sword from the storage ring, brought out a piece of aqua-blue sword light, and shrouded Luo Xiu. Luo Xiu's figure was seen flickering, bringing out 7 afterimages in a row, causing Go Jinchuan's attacks to fail. Go Jinchuan's expression changed drastically again. He thought that with his innate cultivation, he could kill a mere Qi warrior with just a raise of his hand, but he didn't expect that Luo Xiu's body skills were so powerful. His attacks could not hit the opponent at all. Vain, at this moment, Luo Xiu's figure appeared in front of him like a ghost. He waved the shadow sword and used the second form of the Aurora sword technique to slash out the life-threatening sword. The sword was as fast as lightning, and it appeared on Go Jinchuan's neck in an instant. The skin on his neck could feel the biting edge. Go Jinchuan felt the threat of death. As an innate martial artist, his instinctive reaction made him quickly fall backwards. Luo Xiu's battle sword penetrated the air and failed to succeed. Both swords were dodged in succession, and Luo Xiu couldn't help but secretly thought that the innate martial artist was really not that easy to deal with. With his current strength of the 9th level of the murderous sea, it was easy, but to kill the innate martial artist, it would take a lot more effort. Go Jinchuan was also a little frightened at this moment. He couldn't imagine how a Qi warrior could be so powerful. If he hadn't reacted quickly enough, he might have become Luo Xiu's dead soul under the sword. Thinking about this, he had no idea how to play with women, so he immediately used his skills to escape from this place. He believed that as long as he escaped to the vicinity of Yunlong County, he could invite the innate masters from Xiaoyao's sect to kill this kid. At that time, Lu Mengyao would still not be able to escape from his grasp. Luo Xiu naturally couldn't let him escape, so he chased after him with a series of afterimages from his body. The afterimages from all directions in the Deshang realm were far beyond the speed of Go Jinchuan. The black death energy rose up like a flame on the sword, and Luo Xiu slashed out with another sword, slashing towards Go Jinchuan's back. Attribute power. Go Jinchuan was shocked. He felt the flame attribute aura from Luo Xiu's sword, but Luo Xiu's flame was even weirder, as black as ink, and contained the aura of death and despair. Go Jinchuan couldn't understand how a Qi warrior could cultivate the power of attributes. He hurriedly waved the sword in his hand to resist. If he had known that Luo Xiu was so powerful, he would definitely not have led someone to track him down alone, but would have invited Xiaoyao. The experts in the sect helped. Chan, that the swords collided together. Although Go Jinchuan blocked Luo Xiu's sword, the black flames that spattered fell on him, immediately burning his flesh and blood like maggots on his tarsus, and even his soul seemed to being burned is an unbearable pain. Go Jinchuan screamed in agony, and at this moment, the shadow sword came in an instant, cut off his head with a pop, and the screams suddenly stopped. Chapter 67 Fire Sun Tree, 1/2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 67 Fire Sun Tree. The panicked Lu Mengyao did not expect that Luo Xiu could actually kill Go Jinchuan. She thought that she would not be able to escape the fate of being humiliated, but Luo Xiu saved her again. But Go Jinchuan is a master of innate martial arts, and Luo Xiu is at least the 5th level of Qi. How did he do it? Luo Xiu was also a little dazed. He did not expect that the death flame he had condensed was so powerful. The sparks that spattered fell on his opponent, burning Go Jinchuan in great pain, and he gave up resisting instantly. If not, his last sword wouldn't have killed Go Jinchuan so easily. The combination of the power of death and the power of fire, let's call you Netherworld Death Flame from now on. Luo Xiu was surprised and happy in his heart. If he had known that Netherworld Death Flame was so powerful, he wouldn't have to bother so much. He should be able to kill dead opponent. Moreover, he believed that with the power of the Netherworld Death Flame and his own fast sword, it would be no problem to compete with and kill the early Xiantian. As for masters above the 4th level of the mid-level Xiantian, although he has not fought against them, he probably cannot withstand the power of the Netherworld Death Flame. Returning the shadow sword to its sheath, Luo Xiu concentrated his true energy and fired out several black flames, which soon burned the bodies of Go Jinchuan and the 5 Qi warriors to ashes. We can't stay here long to bury your father. We have to leave quickly. As Luo Xiu spoke, he cleaned up the traces and put away the treasures stored by Go Jinchuan and others. Later, he and Lu Mengyao dug a pit together, buried Lu Feichen's body, and cut out a tombstone. Lu Mengyao kowtowed with tears, and then the two returned to Yunlong County. After returning to the Hunters Guild, Luo Xiu knew very well that Xiaoyao's sect would soon discover Go Jinchuan's disappearance, and then based on clues, they would suspect himself and Lu Mengyao. His parents and sister are protected by the guild, so Luo Xiu doesn't have to worry. He is planning to leave Yunlong County and go out for training. The place he chose for training was the Guanlei Mountains, located on the border between Yunlong County and Dohai County. I want to go with you. When Luo Xiu told Lu Mengyao about her idea of going out for training, her first reaction was to say something like this. During this period, everything that happened one after another made the relationship between the two a little delicate. I want to go to the Guanlei Mountains to practice. It will be very dangerous. Your father left you a token. As long as you take the teleportation array directly to Dohai County from here, you can go to Liwaman. Luo Xiu said. I want to be with you. Lu Mengyao's eyes were a little red. All right. Luo Xiu had no choice but to agree. He also knew that Lu Mengyao was helpless, and in Luo Xiu's heart, he had not completely let go of his feelings for Lu Mengyao. Although she chose to leave him, she had her own reasons after all. Luo Xiu understandable. Moreover, you can reach Dohai County through the Guanlei Mountains, and then you can take her to Liwaman. Lu Mengyao was at the 5th level of Qi Si and had obtained the 2-star hunter badge a long time ago, so the two of them took the teleportation array and teleported directly from Yunlong County to Gaoi City. Gaoi City is the closest to the Guanlei Mountains. After coming out of the Hunters Guild, the two bought a horse and left the city directly. Soon, news of Go Jinchuan's disappearance spread to Xiaoyao Inner Gate, and based on clues and investigation, it was learned that Go Jinchuan followed Luo Xiu and Lu Mengyao out of the city. Elder Go Hongyi was furious and ordered an investigation into the whereabouts of Luo Xiu and Lu Mengyao, and learned that they appeared in Gaoi City and went to the Guanlei Mountains. Gaoi City is actually quite far away from the Guanlei Mountains. Luo Xiu and Lu Mengyao rode a horse and walked for 7 days, but they still had not reached the Guanlei Mountains. Perhaps because of Lu Feichen's death, Lu Mengyao became silent and lost the happy and playful look in the past. Sometimes when the two of them were resting on the road and Luo Xiu went hunting in the mountains and forests, Lu Mengyao would become restless. Only when Luo Xiu was by her side would her mood calm down. For her, Luo Xiu is her only support in this world. Her father's death has hit her hard and made her worry about gains and losses. Half a month later, after walking for so long based on the map obtained from the Hunters Guild, the mist-shrouded Guanlei Mountains could be seen in the distance. Suddenly, a powerful pressure fell from the sky, causing Luo Xiu's face to change drastically. The main horse under his crotch seemed to be unable to withstand the pressure, and it neighed in fear anxiously. Lu Mengyao, who was sitting behind him, also felt the pressure, and her pretty face turned pale. Is it the strong man who is being chased by Xiaoyao sect? Luo Xiu endured the oppressive aura and saw a figure flying in the sky. The huge aura of coercion spread from that figure's body. This was a man in purple clothes. His eyes just glanced at Luo Xiu and Lu Mengyao below, and then flew away and disappeared into the distant sky. Luo Xiu felt awe-inspiring in his heart. The man in purple clothes could fly in the air. At the very least, he was a strong man in the realm of the God-refining martial sect. Judging from the aura, this man was far more powerful than Lu Feichen, and was not even weaker than President Wen Qianhong. Should be in existence in the realm of martial arts king. Such strong men are rare in Yunlong County. It's King Yi Yengu. Lu Mengyao said suddenly from behind Luo Xiu, recognizing the identity of the man in purple. King Yi Yengu is a strong man among casual cultivators. I met him once with my father when I was 13 years old. Lu Mengyao said. Luo Xiu nodded. He was not surprised that a strong martial king came near the Guanlei Mountains. The Guanlei Mountains is a vast area, almost as big as half of Yunlong County. Whether it is Qihai warriors, the God-refining martial sect, or even martial arts kings, they often come to the Guanlei Mountains in search of treasure resources. According to the information obtained from the Hunters Guild, there are many precious materials for forging warriors, refining treasures, and various levels of elixirs in the Guanlei Mountains. In addition, there are also powerful monsters, and the materials on them are also treasure. This is a place where masters and strong men gather. Luo Xiu knows very well that it is not easy to gain a foothold here with his Qi Si realm cultivation. He glanced at Lu Mengyao behind him. She was wearing a veil at the moment. After all, with her appearance, she was more likely to get into trouble. Now that we have come here, Luo Xiu's character is naturally impossible to go back. On the road of martial arts cultivation, without a heart that is not afraid of hardships and dangers, reaching the pinnacle of martial arts is just a wishful thinking. Near the Guanlei Mountains, like the Baki Mountain near Qingyun City, there is also a gathering place for warriors. Many warriors who have experienced in the Guanlei Mountains will choose to stay here, either to rest or to exchange and sell what they have obtained. Treasure. There are no 4 major guilds in such a place, and no teleportation array has been set up, so it cannot be reached directly through teleportation. However, Luo Xiu did not go to that gathering place because he knew that there were some formation treasures that could transmit messages. There must be warriors from Xiaoyao sect in this gathering place in the Guanlei Mountains. Once he and Lu Mengyao showed up, they would definitely be targeted. Superior. After bypassing the gathering place, Luo Xiu tied the horse to a big tree, and then took Lu Mengyao on foot to the Guanlei Mountains. In the practice of martial arts, it is difficult to make achievements if you just practice hard in seclusion. Every strong martial artist has to go through many hardships and experience life and death before he can achieve success. Luo Xiu's goal this time is to cross the Guanlei Mountains to Dohai County. The process of crossing the Guanlei Mountains is a training for himself. At the same time, after arriving at Dohai County, he can also send Lu Mengyao to Liumen. Luo Xiu couldn't explain exactly what he felt with Lu Mengyao. Although he was only 14 years old, Luo Xiu felt that he had experienced two emotions. The first was Qinyan Wujian's secret love for Lu Yusin, and the second was his infatuation with Lu Mengyao. However, these two emotions made him feel that things in the world are impermanent, which made him look down on emotional matters a lot. What he wanted to pursue was to become a strong man who reached the pinnacle of martial arts. Entering the Guanlei Mountains, Luo Xiu recalled in his mind the various information he had obtained from the Hunters Guild about this place. There are many warriors who have experienced in the Guanlei Mountains. Qihai warriors are considered to be at the bottom. They usually practice hunting on the edge of the Guanlei Mountains. They dare not set foot in areas that are slightly deeper, otherwise their lives will be in danger. Although it is very dangerous, there are still countless warriors who come to Guanlei Mountains to practice, because the resources here are extremely rich, and even those who are in the realm of martial arts kings will go deep into the mountains to find treasures. Generally, warriors who go out to practice will form large or small teams. Warriors who dare to go alone are mostly powerful warriors who are confident in their own strength. Not long after entering the Guanlei Mountains, Luo Xiu encountered several second-level monsters. Although he could completely avoid the areas where these monsters lurk with his ability to sense life, Luo Xiu came here just for training, so there was no need to be so cautious. He did not collect all the materials on the monster beasts, but only selected the most valuable ones and put them in the storage ring. Suddenly, in Luo Xiu's life perception, he discovered several life breaths belonging to warriors. After a while, three figures appeared in Luo Xiu's sight, walking towards where he and Lu Mengyao were. The visitors were two men and one woman. One was a middle-aged man wearing leather armor with a sword hanging from his waist, and the other was a young man with a fierce face, carrying a sword on his back and wearing armor. The last one is a woman, wearing a tight-fitting military uniform, with a curvy figure and an extremely coquettish figure. When Luo Xiu saw these three people, the other party also discovered him and Lu Mengyao. These three people should be hunters who have been fighting outside for many years, and they have an invisible aura of killing in their bodies. Lu Mengyao stood next to Luo Xiu and felt the chilling atmosphere. She seemed a little nervous and stayed close to Luo Xiu. There are many warriors who have experienced in Guanlei Mountains, so Luo Xiu is not surprised to meet other warriors here. However, he also looked at the three people approaching with vigilance in his heart. After all, in this wilderness, killing people is a normal thing. This little brother invites you. At a distance of more than 10 meters between the two sides, the three people on the other side stopped, showing that the three of them had no ill intentions. The person who spoke was the middle-aged man at the head, who had the cultivation level of the 9th level of Qihai, but Luo Xiu felt that this man was much more powerful than the 9th level of Qihai he had killed in Yunlong County. Luo Xiu also raised his hands and clasped his fists. I wonder what happened to the three of you. In the next chapter, Hai Fei, these two are my companions, Tian Guanyu and Miao Feifei. The middle-aged man did not answer Luo Xiu's question directly, but introduced the three of himself first. Tian Guanyu was a young man with a sword on his back. He had a ruthless look on his face, and it looked like he was not a good person. Tian Feifei smiled and nodded to Luo Xiu. The cultivation of these two people is a little weaker than Zhang Haifei, and they are both at the 8th level of Qi Si. However, Luo Xiu noticed that when Tian Guanyu's eyes fell on Lu Mengyao, they suddenly became hot, because Lu Mengyao was very beautiful and tall, especially her otherworldly temperament, coupled with her somewhat melancholy eyes. It immediately made Tian Guanyu restless. My name is Luo Xiu, and this is my companion, Miss Lu. Luo Xiu also introduced. He did not say Lu Mengyao's name. After all, this was still in Yunlong County. Maybe the other three knew her. Brother Luo, Miss Lu, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I actually want to invite you two to form a team with us. What do you think? Zhang Haifei said. Upon hearing these words, Luo Xiu's first reaction was to refuse, because he knew very well that people's hearts are dangerous when they are practicing outside. Even if they were to form a team, Luo Xiu must choose someone who was reliable and trustworthy, but he didn't know anything about these three people. Besides, the other party directly asked to form a team. Who knew if they had evil intentions? But before Luo Xiu could refuse, Zhang Haifei said again, "We found a fire sun tree, but there was a level 3 monster dormant near the fire sun tree. The three of us are no match for that beast. So I wanted to invite a few more people together." Fire sun tree. Luo Xiu narrowed his eyes slightly. He knew that the fire sun tree was a third-level elixir, and the fire sun fruit produced on the tree was the main medicine for refining the Jintian pill. Jintian Dan is a third-grade elixir. It is a precious elixir used by Qihai warriors to break through the innate realm. Because the fire yang fruit is extremely rare, even though the grade of this elixir is not high, it is higher than many fourth-grade elixirs. Precious, although Luo Xiu obtained King Buchan-Wu's treasure house, there were many fifth-grade elixirs in it, but most of them were for improving cultivation, restoring cultivation, and healing injuries. Similar to Jintian Dan, which can break through bottlenecks, it is not even one. Chapter 68, Lure the Snake Out of Its Hole. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Luo Xiu also didn't expect that he would get clues about the fire sun tree just after arriving at the Guanlei Mountains, although Qi-Si warriors do not necessarily need to use Jin Tian Dan to break through the innate realm. If they take Jin Tian Dan at the 9th level of Qi-Si, they can quickly break through. Only after years of hard work and accumulation of realm can a breakthrough be achieved naturally, especially for some warriors whose cultivation qualifications are not very good. They must use Jintian Dan to break through, otherwise they will have to stay in the Qi-Si realm for the rest of their lives. Whether one can break through the innate realm is crucial to martial arts practitioners, because as long as one breaks through to the innate realm, one's lifespan will be doubled, with a lifespan of 300 to 500 years. Therefore, one can imagine the precious value of Jin Tian Dan. Without the fire yang fruit, the Jin Tian pill cannot be refined. Even among such a large force as Xiaoyao sect, the Jin Tian pill is very rare. Even among the core disciples, only a handful of people are qualified to use it. However, although Luo Xiu is young, he is not a fool. He does not believe that there will be good things happening in this world. Let's not talk about whether the fire sun tree really exists. Even if it does, I'm afraid it's not that easy to get. Otherwise, how could Zhang Haifei and the others be willing to share this benefit? Brother Luo, Miss Lu, I don't need to tell you how precious the fire sun fruit is. You two also know very well. Zhang Haifei said in a deep voice. When the other party said these words, Luo Xiu could clearly feel that the murderous aura on the three people opposite him became even more chilling. It seems that as long as Luo Xiu and Lu Mengyao refuse, they will kill people. At this time, Zhang Haifei simply stopped beating around the bush and said directly, once the news about the fire sun tree spreads, it will inevitably attract powerful people above the innate martial arts master. So since I have told you two about this matter, if we cooperate. Zhang Haifei did not say the rest of the words, but the murderous aura emanating from him and his companions could already explain everything. Luo Xiu is naturally not afraid of the opponent's threat. He can even kill Go Jinchuan, who is at the 2nd level of Xiantian. If he really wants to take action, he is confident that he can kill these three people, but looking at the opponent's attitude, it seems that the news about the fire sun tree is true. If he can get the fire sun fruit, Luo Xiu believes that he can break through to the innate realm in a short time. Okay, we agree to form a team together. Luo Xiu said with a smile. Although there was a smile on his face, Luo Xiu was sneering in his heart. He was sure that if the fire yang fruit could be obtained, Zhang Haifei and the other three would definitely take action. This would save two people from sharing the fruits of victory. Why not? It was obvious that he and Lu Mengyao were at the 5th level of Qi-Si. Zhang Haifei dared to tell the news about the fire sun tree blatantly and forcefully forced the two of them to join their team, but he was sure not to release them to the 5th level of Qi-Si. In the eyes. If it's best, with the two of you joining us, our chances of obtaining the fire yang fruit will be greater. Once we can get it, I, Zhang, will definitely not treat you badly. Seeing Luo Xiu agreeing, Zhang Haifei immediately laughed, and the murderous aura in his body also subsided. However, Luo Xiu keenly caught a flash of coldness from the corner of Zhang Haifei's eyes, which made him more certain of his speculation. The other party thought it was certain that he would be defeated, but it is still unclear who will win when the time comes. From beginning to end, Lu Mengyao said nothing. For her, wherever Luo Xiu goes, she will follow him, otherwise she will feel empty in her heart. As for the conspiracy plan of Zhang Haifei and the others, Lu Mengyao didn't think much about it, because she had seen Luo Xiu's strength with her own eyes. If someone underestimated him because of his low cultivation level, he was really seeking death. "Where is Miss Lu from?" The five of them went on the road together, and Tian Guanyu suddenly came forward to talk to Lu Mengyao. Lu Mengyao frowned slightly. The other party's scorching gaze disgusted her. How could she still not understand the other party's thoughts and purposes? Seeing Lu Mengyao ignoring him, Tian Guanyu asked for trouble. He smiled angrily and didn't say much. However, what he was thinking about was that after getting the fire yang fruit later, this woman would still be unable to escape from him. Palm of hand, and he was sure that Zhang Haifei and Miao Feifei would not stop him, because in the Guanlei Mountains, they often have to fight to the death with monsters, and their nerves are always very tense. Sometimes it is normal to grab a woman and play with the fire. Originally, he planned to get Miao Feifei, but later he found out that Zhang Haifei had already got Miao Feifei, so he had no choice but to give up this idea. However, although Miao Feifei has a good figure, compared with this Lu girl, she is not even a bit inferior. I wonder what kind of monster is that dormant near the fire sun tree? Luo Xiu asked. Green-winged demonic snake. Zhang Haifei's expression looked solemn. Can the five of us do it? Luo Xiu frowned. As far as he knew, although the green-winged demon snake was not the top among the third-level monsters, it was still powerful, and its strength was comparable to that of the fourth-level innate beast. Moreover, the most powerful thing about the green-winged demon snake is the poisonous mist it sprays. If you accidentally inhale a little bit, even a great martial artist of the 9th level of Xiantian may die. Don't worry, I have a level 3 detoxifying pill here that can restrain the poisonous mist of the demon snake, and I am also a level 3 formation mage. As long as the formation is arranged in advance, the green-winged demon snake will not be a worry. Zhang Haifei said. Luo Xiu also didn't expect that Zhang Haifei was still a third-level formation mage. The status of an formation mage was much more noble than that of a warrior. Even if he was at the 9th level of the Qi Si, with his status as a third-level formation mage, many innate martial arts masters would have to be polite to him. Yes, you won't be offended easily. The five people walked all the way to remote places, but they were still on the outskirts of the Guanlei Mountains. Passing through a dense patch of grass that was as tall as one person, a grotto appeared more than 200 meters in front of everyone. There are many holes of different sizes on the dry stone wall, and the howling wind is whining. In an inconspicuous corner, a small fiery red tree grows among the rocks. This small tree is about 3 years old. It is more than a foot tall, its leaves are like burning flames, and 4 date-sized fruits hang between the branches and leaves. This place is very remote, and the huiyang tree growing in such a place has never been discovered by anyone else. I have to say that Zhang Haifei and the other 3 are really lucky. However, the surrounding air is filled with a fishy smell, and traces of snakes can be seen on the nearby ground. The green-winged demon snakes Zhang Haifei mentioned should be dormant in the caves near the huiyang tree. Luo Xiu's eyes narrowed slightly. For him, as long as he was sure to have the fire yang fruit, the trip would be worthwhile. The eyes of Zhang Haifei, Tian Guanyu, and Miao Feifei also became hot. Once they obtain the fire yang fruit, it is almost equivalent to having a guarantee to break through the innate realm. I will set up the formation first, and you guys will help me guard it. Zhang Haifei said, and then took out a palm-sized formation flag from the storage ring. Luo Xiu had never been exposed to the art of formations, so naturally he couldn't understand what kind of formations Zhang Haifei had arranged. However, as far as Luo Xiu knows, there are roughly 4 types of formations: killing formation, trapping formation, illusion formation, and defensive formation, to deal with the green-winged demonic snake, a third-level monster that was comparable to an innate. Martial artist, Luo Xiu guessed that Zhang Haifei should have deployed a killing array, a trapping array, or a defensive array. About half an hour later, Zhang Haifei finished setting up the formations and said to Luo Xiu and others, "I have set up a trapping formation and a killing formation. With these two level 3 formations and the cooperation of all of us, it should be there is a 60% chance of killing the green-winged demonic snake." Having said this, Zhang Haifei took out another green pill and said, "One of us needs to lure the green-winged demon snake here. I need to preside over the formation here, so this matter will trouble a few people." After Zhang Haifei said these words, Tian Guanyu looked at Luo Xiu and Lu Mengyao and said, "You two are relatively weak in cultivation. It is mainly up to us to kill the green-winged demon snake, so you are responsible for attracting that beast here. Miss Lu, as a prostitute, I think the one who is most suitable for this task is you, brother Luo." Tian Guanyu said with a smile. Hearing this, Luo Xiu frowned. He knew that these three people had no good intentions in forcing him and Lu Mengyao to form a team. It was undoubtedly very dangerous to lure the snake out of the hole. The green-winged demon snake was extremely fast, and maybe it hadn't been lured over yet. He was already buried in Shiko. Brother Tian is right. Since we all cooperate, we will naturally contribute. We are responsible for killing the demon snake. Brother Luo, as a member of the team, must also contribute. Zhang Haifei also looked at Luo Xiu, with a hint of threat in his eyes. Lu Mengyao clutched Luo Xiu's sleeves. Obviously she also knew the danger involved. Luo Xiu sneered in his heart, but the expression on his face did not show any dissatisfaction. "Okay, I will lure the green-winged demon snake over." Zhang Haifei's face showed a smile. "Brother Luo, don't worry, as long as you take this detoxification pill, you don't have to be afraid of the beast's poisonous mist. As long as you run back faster, the demon snake will be trapped by my formation." Luo Xiu nodded and took the detoxification pill from Zhang Haifei's hand. The wheel of life and death in his dantian trembled slightly, making him feel an extremely dangerous aura from the detoxification pill in his hand. "There's something wrong with this antidote pill." Luo Xiu narrowed his eyes and did not raise it on the spot. Luo Xiu. Lu Mengyao looked at Luo Xiu worriedly. Although she knew that Luo Xiu was not weak, the green-winged demon snake was not comparable to Go Jinchuan. "Don't worry, I'll be fine." Luo Xiu comforted her, and then cautiously approached the direction of the grotto. Zhang Haifei and Tian Guanyu looked at each other, looking at Luo Xiu's retreating back, with sneers on their lips. The closer he got to the grotto, the stronger the nauseating stench became. Luo Xiu spread his life perception, and deep in the largest cave in the stone wall, he sensed the strong life breath of the green-winged demon snake, which was as strong as a torch. The physical strength and vitality of monster beasts are far beyond those of human warriors, so their life aura is also more vigorous. Not long after, Luo Xiu was only a dozen meters away from the grotto. The aura of the green-winged demon god in the grotto suddenly became violent. Discovered. Luo Xiu was startled, and he immediately stopped hiding his aura and suddenly opened up his speed. His body brought up afterimages and rushed towards the fire sun tree in the corner as fast as possible. In the distance, Zhang Haifei, Tian Guanyu, and Miao Feifei all showed surprise on their faces when they saw Luo Xiu rushing towards the huiyang tree. On the one hand, he was surprised that Luo Xiu was so fast that he could show the afterimage. On the other hand, he was surprised that he was discovered by the green-winged demon snake and actually dared to grab the fire yang fruit. This guy is really brave. He can't come back. Zhang Haifei said coldly. He knew very well how fast the green-winged demonic snake was. If Luo Xiu turned around and ran away the moment he was discovered, he would still have the possibility of escaping. However, if he rushed towards the fire sun tree instead, he would definitely die. If Luo Xiu died, then he would let the woman named Lu pass next. Although it was a pity that such a beautiful woman died, compared to the fire Yanghua, a woman seemed insignificant. Chapter 69 Green-Winged Demonic Snake. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Boom! Fierce and vicious energy suddenly spewed out from a gloomy and dark cave like a bursting flood. this is a big snake with green scales all over its body, as thick as a bucket. The snake's head is flat and triangular, and its inverted vertical pupils are cold. The reason why it is called the green-winged demon snake is because on the back of this big snake, there is a pair of fleshy wings as transparent as cicada wings. Once unfolded, the green-winged demon snake can ride on the wind and glide for a while in the air. Feeling the terrible evil energy surging behind him, Luo Xiu knew that the green-winged demon snake had appeared. This green-winged demon snake is entrenched here just for the fire yang fruit. The medicinal power contained in the elixir can increase its strength, and it is something that it would not be willing to swallow on weekdays, but at this moment, someone actually wanted to attract Huiyangguo's attention. The green-winged demon snake hissed angrily, opened its bloody mouth, and bit towards Luo Xiu. The green-winged demon snake's attack speed is very fast, and the snake's head looks like blue lightning. Luo Xiu didn't look back, but he could feel the howling wind coming. He didn't panic at all. The movement under his feet instantly moved sideways, leaving an afterimage. Boom! The green-winged demon snake's bite failed, and some stones were crushed by it. The 10-foot-long snake body completely moved out of the grotto. For Luo Xiu, the distance of more than 10 meters was reached in an instant. Avoiding the bite of the green-winged demonic snake, Luo Xiu suddenly accelerated and reached out to pluck 4 fruits from the Huiyang tree. Hiss! The green-winged demon snake was furious, raised its head, opened its mouth, and sprayed out a jet of black and smelly poisonous mist, shrouding Luo Xiu. This poisonous mist was so powerful that the corrosive air made a crackling sound. Once this terrible poison was enveloped, Luo Xiu doubted whether the detoxification pill would be effective. What's more, he suspected that Zhang Haifei had tampered with this detoxification pill. The true energy condensed, and Luo Xiu's body erupted with deathly flames of the netherworld. The moment the black flames came into contact with the black poisonous mist, they made a hissing sound. Although Luo Xiu held his breath, he still felt dizzy, which showed how powerful the poisonous mist sprayed by the green-winged demonic snake was. At the same time, Luo Xiu did not dare to stop at all, and pushed his body's speed to the extreme, quickly galloping towards Zhang Haifei and others. The fire sun fruit was snatched away, and the green-winged demon snakes chased after them. 1 person and 1 snake, 1 big and 1 small. They were all very fast, getting closer and closer to the area where the formation was arranged. This kid can actually escape. Tian Guangyou's eyes widened. In the situation just now, he would definitely die. He should have taken the detoxifying pill. Although he was not poisoned by the demon snake, but... Zhang Haifei said with a sneer. It's coming, everyone, get ready. At this moment, Luo Xiu had already rushed into the range of the formation, and the demonic snake also spread out its blue and transparent flesh wings. The huge snake body was gliding 3 feet above the ground, flying in like lightning. Buzz! A white light suddenly lit up, like a large upside-down bowl, trapping the green-winged demon snake in a small space. Zhang Haifei activated the trap formation arranged in advance. At this moment, Zhang Haifei, Tian Guangyou, Miao Feifei, and Lu Mengyao were all outside the trap, but Zhang Haifei activated the trapping formation and trapped both Luo Xiu and the green-winged demonic snake in the formation. Luo Xiu is still inside. Lu Mengyao's pretty face changed, and she shouted to Zhang Haifei, who was in charge of the formation, "Release Luo Xiu quickly." "Shut up!" Tian Guangyou, who was on the side, pulled out his sword with a loud sound, and pointed the tip of the sword at Lu Mengyao. "Don't disturb the big brother who is in charge of the formation, or I will chop you with my sword." The woman Miao Feifei also had an expressionless face. She took out a short knife in her hand and stared at Lu Mengyao indifferently. You. Lu Mengyao's face was filled with anger. No one can save him. The detoxification pill itself contains highly toxic substances. Without that kid as a bait, how could the green-winged demonic snake be killed so easily? Tian Guangyou said with a sneer. Everything developed according to their plan, and at this moment, Tian Guangyou had nothing to hide. Hearing this, Lu Mengyao's face turned pale for a moment. She obviously understood what Tian Guangyou meant. They asked Luo Xiu to lure the snake out of the hole. They had planned it, and after taking the poisonous detoxification pill, Luo Xiu was swallowed by the green-winged demon snake. If it falls, the demon snake will also be poisoned to death. If the poison could kill even the green-winged demonic snake, Luo Xiu would definitely die even if he was not swallowed by the demonic snake. If Luo Xiu died, Lu Mengyao also knew very well that if she fell into the hands of these insidious guys, she would definitely not end well. After thinking about this, Lu Mengyao immediately took out a sword from the storage ring and directly stabbed Zhang Haifei, who was in charge of the formation. Even if she fights with these people, she will never fall into their hands. Shameless bitch. Tian Guanyu snorted coldly. The sword brought out a ray of light, and knocked back Lu Mengyao with a clang. At the same time, in the trapped formation, Luo Xiu was indeed in a crisis. He did not take the detoxification pill, but in the limited space covered by the trap, the green-winged demon snake's offensive was like a violent storm, putting him in danger several times. Boom! 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 The green-winged demon snake's attacks also continuously bombarded the trap formation, and the white light curtain vibrated violently and shook. Luo Xiu did not draw his sword to fight the green-winged demonic snake, but devoted himself wholeheartedly to the Shifang remaining shadow body technique to dodge all the attacks of the green-winged demonic snake. The netherworld death flame could block most of the black poisonous mist, but some toxins still seeped into the body, causing a strange green color to appear on Luo Xiu's face. Suddenly, a majestic killing intent suddenly spread, and blood-red killing lights appeared out of thin air, like Li Xian's arrows, attacking the huge body of the green-winged demon snake. The trapping formation alone cannot kill the green-winged demon snake, and it won't take long for the green-winged demonic snake to break through the trapping formation's blockade. So Zhang Haifei quickly activated the third-level killing formation. The killing light formed by the third-level killing array is comparable to the attack of an innate martial artist. Even though the scales of the green-winged demon snake are very strong, it is difficult to withstand the continuous attacks of the third-level killing array. Hiss! The demon snake roared angrily, and simply gave up its attack on Luo Xiu. It kept pulling out its steel-like snake tail, bombarding the white light curtain formed by the trap formation. After a moment, with a clicking sound, the light curtain of the trap shattered, turning into light spots all over the sky and disappearing without a trace. The green-winged demon snake escaped from the trap. Its scales were damaged numerous times, and its body was covered in blood. A pair of scarlet vertical pupils showed murderous intent. After breaking through the trap, it looked up and a large black poisonous mist spurted out, rushing towards Zhang Haifei, Tian Guanyu and others. No! Back away! Zhang Haifei's expression changed drastically and his face turned pale. The formation he presided over almost exhausted his qi cultivation, but the green-winged demon snake was only injured and not dead. At the same time, he noticed that Luo Xiu, who escaped from the trap with the green-winged demon snake, was blocked in the trap formation with the demon snake. He was not swallowed by the demon snake. Moreover, it stands to reason that the poison in the detoxification pill should have taken effect. Why is he still alive? Could it be that he didn't take the detoxifying pill at all? Zhang Haifei couldn't figure out how Luo Xiu did it. How did he resist the poisonous mist of the demon snake without using the detoxifying pill? How could a guy with the 5th level of Qi fight with the demonic snake for a long time without dying? However, Zhang Haifei didn't have time to think so much at this moment. He turned over his hand and took out an antidote pill, swallowed it, and retreated quickly. Tian Guanyu and Miao Feifei, who worked together to restrain Lu Mengyao, also quickly retreated. Tian Guanyu did not forget to grab Lu Mengyao and retreat together. He was not willing to let such a beautiful woman die. The green-winged demonic snake vented all its injured anger on Zhang Haifei and others. Not far behind the demonic snake, Luo Xiu took out a low-grade war sword from his storage ring. To deal with this level 3 monster with strong defense, using an earth-level war sword can naturally cause effective damage. Infused with true energy, the earth-level war sword was covered with a layer of black netherworld death flames. Luo Xiu's body was seen bringing up 7 afterimages in succession. The war sword was like black lightning, slashing at the green-winged demon snake. On the body, the hard snake scales were cut open like waste paper under the earth-level war sword. and the smelly blood spattered everywhere. The severe pain made the green-winged demonic snake roar and hiss. With a snap, Luo Xiu was thrown away by the green-winged demonic snake. His body flipped in the air to release his force, and landed more than 10 meters away. The green-winged demon snake's body curled up. Luo Xiu's sword just now not only hurt its body, but the netherworld death flame also burned its life veins. Taking out the antidote pill, Luo Xiu crushed it hard and smeared it on the sword. Immediately afterwards, he rushed forward again with a whoosh, and the earth-level war sword made a hiss, leaving another huge wound on the body of the green-winged demon snake. Bang! Luo Xiu was also swept by the snake's tail. Even though he blocked it with his sword and offset most of the force, he was still sent flying away with blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. The green-winged demon snake suffered heavy losses one after another and quickly swam towards the grotto, hoping to escape back to its lair, but as soon as the green-winged demon snake swam closer to the grotto, its huge snake body thumped and crashed to the ground, and its vitality quickly disappeared. In Luo Xiu's perception, the green-winged demon snake's life veins were constantly being eroded, and terrible toxins were spreading in its body. Thinking of the antidote pill that he crushed and smeared on the sword, Luo Xiu's face was as gloomy as water, and he instantly understood what was going on. Looking around, Luo Xiu didn't see Zhang Haifei and others. It was obviously because they knew they couldn't kill the green-scaled demon snake just now because it escaped from trouble, so they quickly retreated. Luo Xiu did not touch the body of the green-winged demon snake first, but found some erratic footprints and quickly chased after it. The spread of life perception allows Luo Xiu to sense the breath of all living things within a kilometer. In just a moment, Luo Xiu locked the auras of Zhang Haifei and others within the range of his perception. Near a hidden bush, they found that the green-winged demon snake was not chasing them, so Zhang Haifei and others stopped to rest. Damn it, I didn't expect it to fall short in the end. Zhang Haifei's face looked ugly. He had used a lot of materials to set up 2 level 3 formations, but he had gained nothing and almost lost his life. He had undoubtedly made a loss-making deal. Brother, how come that boy named Luo is not dead? Tian Guanyu asked doubtfully. Before escaping, when the trap was breached, he also saw that Luo Xiu was still alive. I'm not very sure. He probably didn't take that antidote pill, and he was able to fight the green-winged monster snake for a long time without dying. I'm afraid he's not a simple character. As Zhang Haifei spoke, he took out a pill to restore his true energy and swallowed it. He's only at the 5th level of the Qi Si. He's lucky if he doesn't die, but he seems to have picked the Fire Sun fruit. Fei and I will go find him and get the Fire Sun fruit back. Tian Guanyu said this, then glanced at Lu Mengyao who was restrained by him, and grinned. Little beauty, wait until the uncle comes back to love you well. No need to look for me, I came here on my own initiative. At this moment, a voice suddenly came, and Luo Xiu's figure came out of the bushes. Chapter 70, Formation Basics. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Luo Xiu held a blood-stained war sword in his hand and chased him all the way. The blood on the corner of his mouth was not wiped off. The clothes on his body were somewhat damaged and he looked a little embarrassed. There is a way to heaven but you don't take it, and there is no door to hell but you break in. That when Tian Guanyu saw Luo Xiu, he immediately raised his head and laughed, and said with a fierce expression, hand over the fire yang fruit, Grandpa, I will leave you with a whole body. He was a warrior at the 8th level of Qi Si, and he didn't even pay attention to the opponent who was at the 5th level of Qi Si. Just because Tian Guanyu has no brains does not mean that Zhang Haifei and Miao Feifei are also brainless. Zhang Haifei saw the blood on the sword in Luo Xiu's hand and suddenly had a bad feeling. Want fire yang fruit? Of course. Luo Xiu smiled slightly and said, but you have to pay for it with your life. After hearing the first half of the sentence, Tian Guanyu was about to say, you guys have heard something interesting. But when he heard the second sentence, he suddenly became furious and rushed towards Luo Xiu with a sword in hand. If you don't know how to appreciate someone, come and die. The brilliance bloomed on the sword. Tian Guanyu showed murderous intent, and his attacks were extremely cruel. Brush. Luo Xiu swung the war sword in his hand, and the cold light of the war sword brought out a stream of hot blood. Tian Guanyo's eyes widened, his body movement stopped abruptly, blood spurted out from his neck, and he fell into a pool of blood with a thump. The sword in his hand also broke into two pieces. In the moment just now, Luo Xiu swung his sword to cut off his sword, sealed his throat with one sword, and killed him with one blow. Seeing this scene, Miao Feifei's pretty face suddenly turned pale. Without saying a word, she turned around and walked away, getting into the nearby bushes. Zhang Haifei also wanted to escape. Luo Xiu's sword strike just now frightened him. This boy's cultivation level is definitely not as simple as the 5th level of Qi Si. Moreover, his war sword can easily cut through low-level human-level war swords. It is definitely the same. High-grade soldiers, but when he presided over the formation to trap and kill the green-winged demon snake, his true energy was almost exhausted. Although he took a pill, he only recovered a little. He was afraid that he would be stopped before he could escape, so he violently got up and grabbed Lu Mengyao beside him. However, Luo Xiu struck later and was faster than him. A ray of sword light struck from the sky, causing Zhang Haifei's expression to change, and he quickly retracted his hand that was grabbing Lu Mengyao. Luo Xiu's face was expressionless, and his attack was decisive and straightforward. The sword was raised horizontally again in an instant, slashing towards Zhang Haifei's neck. Zhang Haifei quickly took out a disc-shaped formation device, and a light curtain lit up to protect him. Luo Xiu's war sword slashed at the light curtain, and the light curtain rippled like water waves without breaking. Zhang Haifei also used the force to retreat and escape quickly. As a 3rd-level formation mage, Zhang Haifei's methods are comparable to those of an innate martial artist. If he were at his peak, he would naturally not be afraid of this Luo Xiu, but at this moment he had to escape. Moreover, what he inspired was a 3rd-level defensive formation treasure. Luo Xiu just struck a sword, and the defensive light curtain suddenly dimmed. It is estimated that if he strikes again, the defensive light curtain will be broken. This situation undoubtedly shows that the grade of the war sword in Luo Xiu's hand must be very high, and may even exceed the category of human-level war soldiers. Could it be an earth-level war sword? Zhang Haifei didn't escape far before Luo Xiu quickly caught up with him and stabbed him through the air with his earth-level war sword. With a pop, the defensive light curtain shattered and collapsed, and the formation disc in Zhang Haifei's hand also clicked, with several cracks appearing. Not good. Zhang Haifei's face changed drastically, and he quickly took out another jade talisman. Just as he was about to crush the jade talisman with force, he felt a sharp pain in the back of his heart, and a war sword penetrated his body, and then his eyes went black. Lost consciousness, Luo Xiu pulled out the sword, squatted down, and wiped the blood on the sword with Zhang Haifei's clothes. This was not the first time he killed someone, and the person he killed was the person who deserved to be killed, so his mood was not disturbed at all. Picking up the jade talisman held in Zhang Haifei's hand, Luo Xiu looked at it and found that it was a wind-controlling talisman with a 3-level wind control formation engraved on it. Once crushed, the user's speed would be doubled. However, before Zhang Haifei could crush the wind control talisman, he was killed by Luo Xiu with a sword. Otherwise, he might really have escaped. Luo Xiu then put away Zhang Haifei's storage ring, which contained hundreds of low-grade vitality stones, some elixirs, and several formation treasures. Lu Mengyao waited anxiously near the bushes, looking a little worried. There was a sound of footsteps, and when he saw Luo Xiu coming back, she breathed a sigh of relief. Since Luo Xiu was back, he should have obviously killed that Zhang Haifei. Are you okay? Luo Xiu glanced at her and asked. I'm fine. Lu Mengyao shook her head, then took out a storage wristband and handed it to Luo Xiu. This storage wristband belonged to Tian Guanyo. After being killed by Luo Xiu, when he went to chase Zhang Haifei, he was put away by Lu Mengyao. Let's get out of here first. After a while, Luo Xiu took Lu Mengyao back to the grotto, and used the earth-level war sword to disintegrate the body of the green-winged demon snake. When Lu Mengyao saw the corpse of the 10-foot-long snake, she was almost stunned. How did he do it? Lu Mengyao looked at Luo Xiu's back and felt more and more that she didn't seem to understand him. After collecting the materials about the green-winged demon snake, Luo Xiu immediately took Lu Mengyao and left the place quickly. Zhang Haifei and Tian Guanyo were killed by him, but the woman Miao Feifei escaped. No one could tell whether they had others. Companion, in Luo Xiu's hand, there was a simplified map of the Guanlei Mountains obtained from the Hunters' Guild. About half an hour later, the two of them were far away from the previous area. The Guanlei mountain range is vast, and Luo Xiu does not dare to set foot in the deep areas. Even if he plans to cross it to Dohai County, Luo Xiu's plan is to only go to the outer perimeter and go around. When Luo Xiu told Lu Mengyao her thoughts, she looked slightly sad and said, "After you send me to Lei Wu's sect, where do you plan to go? Be at peace with the situation, the world is your home." Luo Xiu said with a smile. Walking in the forest, the two became silent for a while. With the help of the ability to sense life, Luo Xiu would avoid some monsters above level 3. As he continued to go deeper, he became farther and farther away from Yunlong County. From Zhang Haifei's storage ring, Luo Xiu found a book on the basics of formations, which talked about the basics of formations. That Zhang Haifei was a third-level formation mage, so it was not surprising that he had such a book on him. In the past, Luo Xiu had not thought about studying the art of formation, but after what happened to the green-winged demonic snake, he discovered the power of the art of formation. With the help of formations, formation masters can not only refine various treasures, but also kill enemies by leapfrogging levels. For example, Zhang Haifei, who is at the 9th level of the Qi Si, can have strength comparable to that of an innate martial artist with the help of third-level formations. It's just a pity that what he wanted to hunt was the green-winged demon snake, which was far from the ordinary third-level demonic beast, so in the end he fell short. When he was in Qingyun Martial Palace, Luo Xiu also learned some information about formations. It is said that formations are complicated and profound, and require extremely high talent to understand them. Many formation masters have studied for a lifetime, and therefore delayed their own martial arts. Entry, as the saying goes, you can't have your cake and eat it too. If a person wants to achieve success in martial arts, he can't be distracted by studying formations, refining pills, and casting. However, those warriors who concentrate on studying formations, refining alchemy, and casting are relatively inferior in martial arts advancement. Of course, it is said that there are also some extremely talented people with extremely high qualifications who can do both and achieve extremely high achievements. When Luo Xiu took out this book on the basics of formations, he actually had no intention of embarking on the path of formations, but just wanted to know more about formations. He knew very well that he would be practicing outside all year round to learn more about formations. If he met some warriors who practiced formations, he would not be blinded. At the edge of the Guanlei Mountains, Luo Xiu would not encounter any danger as long as he was careful. As he got closer to Dohai County, perhaps knowing that the two were about to separate, Lu Mengyao spoke less and spent most of the time. Remain silent. When Luo Xiu was studying the basics of the formation, she would always look at him in a daze, but Luo Xiu himself had no idea. Luo Xiu didn't know what Lu Mengyao was thinking. When he started to look through this book on the basics of formations, he was attracted by the various mysteries explained in the formations. Formation can be said to be an alternative martial arts. Warriors use formation flags made from various materials and engraved with formation patterns and runes to achieve the purpose of drawing the power of heaven and earth for their own use. During this process, the wheels of life and death in the Dantian rotated independently and rapidly, and the first original law diagram became increasingly clear in my mind. The lines and strange-shaped runes in the law diagram actually also contained the mystery of formation. Not only that, the life and death pearl that was integrated with the soul also conveyed a mystery that could only be understood but not expressed in words, making him feel that the so-called complex and profound formations were actually very simple. 3 days later, Luo Xiu had read through the basics of this formation. All the formation theories from level 1 to level 3 explained in it were also understood by Luo Xiu, which made him feel that it was all incredible. However, Luo Xiu soon understood that he did not believe that his understanding was so powerful, and it must be because of the life and death bead. The pearl of life and death contains the origin of heaven and earth. The so-called origin is all-encompassing. Everything evolves from the origin, and formations are naturally among them. In theory, Luo Xiu is now equivalent to the level of a third-level formation mage, but this has not been practiced and he cannot be completely sure. Arrangement of formations requires the assistance of formation flags. Most of the formation flags used by formation masters are entrusted to forgers to make them. Then the formation masters engrave formation runes on the formation flags, and only then can powerful formations be arranged. Luo Xiu didn't have the formation flag in his hand. Although he felt itchy, he couldn't try to see if he could set up a third-level formation. Unconsciously, Luo Xiu and Lu Mengyao had been in Guanlei Mountains for half a month. During this period, Luo Xiu gained a lot, especially his understanding and appreciation of the formation method, which suddenly opened up many problems that he had not understood before. His cultivation level has also been steadily improving, and it won't take long for him to break through to the 6th level of Qi Si. The realm of martial arts has also increased rapidly. Kuai Jianju has officially entered the realm of Deshang from the past Xiaocheng realm. The 10 directions afterimage body technique can also manifest 8 afterimages, and the speed becomes faster. Time passed in each other's silence, and Lu Mengyao did not slack off in his cultivation, reaching the 6th level of Qi Si one step ahead of Luo Xiu. This made Luo Xiu understand that his cultivation talent was actually not outstanding. At least Lu Mengyao's talent was definitely much better than his. The reason why he was able to achieve his current achievements was all due to the life and death bead. With a treasure like the Pearl of Life and Death, if I still can't make achievements in martial arts, wouldn't it be a waste of the opportunity given to me by fate? Luo Xiu is full of confidence in his future. On this land, countless talented people are pursuing the path to the peak of martial arts. He has grown up listening to the legends and biographies of countless strong men since he was a child. At the age of 14, he actually longed to become such a strong man himself.